Chapter 026. Crouching on the low slope behind the tree, looking at the building in front, Xinlan couldn't help asking, "Li Mu, big brother, what shall we do now?" Sticking her head out, Li Mu is not afraid of being seen with the auspicious suit, pointing to the window facing the two of them in Building 1 and saying, "Did you see those windows? Let's run over quietly, then smash the glass with a gun handle, and then climb in. You knock on the one on the far side, and I knock on the far one. After I smash the glass, I will find you. Do you understand what I mean?" Nodding her head, Xinlan would understand such a simple tactic without thinking about it. The two glass shattered, if someone was there, they would definitely be distracted, and this would create a buffer time for her and Li Mu. Looking up at the windows at the back of Building 1, but seeing no one, Li Mu shouted in a low voice, "Walk!" Across the short slope, Li Mu bent over holding a gun and ran quickly to the window at the back of Building 1. Immediately afterwards, because Xinlan was relatively close, she reached under the window first, gestured to Li Mu, Xinlan raised her gun, and knocked on the glass. Crack! The glass shattered with a crisp sound, and on the other side, Li Mu also smashed the glass, turned her head and ran towards Xinlan. Li Mu heaved a sigh of relief when they both turned over into the C building. As long as they can get in safely, their chances of surviving to the end will be increased by half. Without delay, Li Mu quietly pushed open the door, quickly looked at the corridor outside, found no one, and walked out bent over. Hey, Li Mu, big brother, I'll go ahead." Behind, Xinlan didn't dare to speak loudly, so she could only lower her voice and follow Li Mu closely. "Don't make trouble, the tactics have changed. You are responsible for opening the door. If you see someone shooting directly, I will watch the front for you. This kind of corridor battle is a bit far away. It is suitable for rifles, especially powerful rifles like AKM." Not daring to refute, after Li Mu quickly ran through a door, Xinlan pushed the door against the wall, turned around and pointed the gun at the inside of the room, and quickly opened the opposite door after no one was found. According to this progress, no one was found, which was also expected by Li Mu. Under normal circumstances, there would be no people on the first floor, and if there were, it would be on the second floor. Without letting go of his vigilance, standing at the stairs, Li Mu gestured a few times and said, "Xinlan, you go ahead, you are still the same, if there is someone, shoot directly, and I will make up for you later." Nodding her head, passing Li Mu, Xinlan walked up the stairs nervously holding S686. On the second floor, standing at the stairs, Li Mu looked sideways at the corridor, some doors were open and some were closed. Li Mu winked at Xinlan turned and walked out. He and Xinlan kept two positions, and their movements were almost the same. They came to a door lightly, and quietly pushed the door open. Squeak! Some old doors opened, with some strange sounds. Xinlan took a look inside, and her heart skipped a beat. "Didn't you say that one person guards one room? Which of you ran over?" It seems that they heard the sound of the door. The players in the room didn't realize the danger. When they were talking, they slowly turned their heads. Bang! Bang! Without hesitation, Xinlan sprayed twice, and the players in the room fell to the ground in an instant. The damage of two S686 shots is not covered. Behind Xinlan, Li Mu's heart trembled. She didn't expect that there would be someone in the first room, and she jumped over Xinlan to replace the fallen player. She took Xinlan behind her back and hid behind the cabinet in the corridor. "Crap! Are you going to kill our people before the game is over?" There was a roar in front of the corridor, the door was opened, and a bearded white man ran out holding a gun, followed by 5 or 6 players emerging from the room. "What's going on? Where did the gunshot come from?" There are actually 2 teams in Building 1, Li Mu really didn't expect it, but since everyone has come out, it's just right. Leaning out half of the body, the AKM in his hand was replaced by M249, what kind of AKM is used at this time? A group of people are all in the corridor, just chug and it's over. Seeing the 6 people who suddenly came out of the room, the white-bearded man was stunned. There were only 2 teams of them in this building, a total of 8 people, and his teammate was dead. How could there be 6 people including his teammate? Who killed his teammates? Just when he didn't understand what was going on, there was a burst of gunshots behind him, and the overwhelming bullets stunned the 2 teams present. Da-da-da-da. M249 is used as a light machine gun in the airdrop. The magazine of 100 rounds can be said to be the best in PlayerUnknown's battlegrounds. Although the damage of 5.56 bullets is lower, the number is large. Bang bang! Xinlan was not to be outdone, and the S686 in her hand also sprayed out fireworks, covering for Li Mu and causing damage along the way. Overwhelmed by the hail of bullets, the two teams who were about to fight each other were caught off guard in an instant, and a large amount of blood sprayed from their bodies. Chapter 027. Go back! Go back! I was attacked. Go back quickly! He was shot several times in a row, but fortunately the third-level armor was relatively thick, so he turned his head and went back to the room. The bearded white man kept roaring. The rest of the people are not stupid, with such fierce firepower all of a sudden, why don't they run and wait to die? They were caught off guard, not all of them were third-level armors with big beards. Under Li Mu's strafing, 3 players were immediately swept to the ground. Xinlan, come out with me, you throw mine, don't stop, throw it all out. It took a while to shoot 100 rounds of 5.56 bullets. Except for the 3 people who fell to the ground, the remaining 4 were more or less shot, but Li Mu was worried, he had to use firepower to suppress it. As for the 3 players who fell to the ground, there were no spare bullets to fill them up, and the grenades were all taken care of in the past. Taking out the grenade, Xinlan didn't care so much, pulled the string and threw it forward. Looking at the grenade flying over, the 3 fallen players looked desperate. No, do not want. Don't kill me. Don't throw the grenade. Da-da-da. The gunshots from M249 resounded throughout the C building, the bullets fired in all directions made a swoosh sound, and the piercing whistling sound made people's scalps tingle, especially the few players who were hiding, who were terrified to get their blood back from the first aid kit. Boom! 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 The continuous roar shook building number 1, and a large amount of wall dust fell, and building number 1 seemed to be collapsing. Ding! You used M249 to kill player 004, you got 100 points, and the 10 times reward talent is activated. Congratulations, you got 1000 points. Ding! Respected player No 088, your current kill count is 23. Ding! You used M249 to kill player 011, you got 100 points, and the 10 times bonus talent is activated. Congratulations, you got 1000 points. Ding! Respected player No 088, your current kill count is 24. Ding! You used M249 to kill player 014 with a headshot, and you got 100 points. The 10 times reward talent is activated. Congratulations, you got 1000 points. Ding! Respected player No 088, your current kill count is 25. The 3 fallen players were blown up to the sky, and their heads were captured in an instant. As Li Mu walked, the M249 in his hand poured out firepower, focusing on the doors of several players. No matter how much 100 rounds of bullets are, there will be a moment when the bullets are exhausted. Li Mu does not hesitate, throws the M249 on the ground, puts on the AKM and rushes forward. After throwing 9 grenades, Xinlan quickly changed to S686 and started to attack with Li Mu. Xinlan, you are always on the lookout for anyone who pushes the door and comes out, and spray him to death. I'll break the door. It is good. When he ran to a door, Li Mu kicked it open and threw the fragment grenade in his hand. No. 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 Just as the bearded white man heard the gunshots stop, before he had time to fight back, he saw the door being kicked open and a green fragment grenade thrown in, and there was a burst of desperate yells. Boom! Ding! You used a fragmentation grenade to kill player No 045, you got 100 points, and the 10 times reward talent is activated. Congratulations, you got 1000 points. Ding! Respected player No 088, your current number of kills is 26. Okay? Killed a team? Without stopping, Li Mu didn't look at the bearded body, kicked open the front door and threw in another grenade. Boom! There was a muffled sound, and the knockdown notification came, and in the other room, seeing how cruel Li Mu and the others were, the other 2 immediately panicked. Brothers, talk about it. There are not many people now. As long as we join forces, we will be able to kill others. When there are only 10 people left, the game will be over. Brother, the 2 of you, the 2 of us, you can kill the player you knocked down, and when the time comes, let's form a team, is that okay? Inside the room, the knockdown player suddenly turned pale and shouted in shock, How can you treat me like this? You must die. It was obviously sold, and as a vote of honor, the players who fell to the ground were desperate. Not in a hurry to make a move, Li Mu quietly took out a grenade, pulled the ring and asked, "Are you serious? Are you sure you want to form a team?" Hearing Li Mu's words, the two players in the room were overjoyed, and they didn't dare to neglect, and said quickly, "We are serious, absolutely not a lie." "Well, I believe you, but..." As their door was opened, a frag grenade rolled in. "Do not, boom. Ding. You used a fragmentation grenade to kill player 020, you got 100 points, and the 10 times bonus talent was activated. Congratulations, you got 1000 points. Ding, respected player No 088, your current kill count is 27. Ding. You used a fragmentation grenade to kill player 099, you got 100 points, and the 10 times bonus talent is activated. Congratulations, you got 1000 points. Ding, respected player No 088, your current kill count is 28. Ding. You used a fragmentation grenade to kill player No 087, you got 100 points, and the 10 times bonus talent is activated. Congratulations, you got 1000 points. Ding, respected player No 088, your current kill count is 29. Leaning against the wall, listening to the game prompt, Li Mu let out a breath. But I can't trust you. If you can sell others now, you can sell me tomorrow. Chapter 28. In Building 2 of the airport, 3 men and 1 woman are gathering together at this time. The equipment on their bodies is not bad. There are 3 level heads and 3 level A, especially the women among them, which are even more luxurious. A full set of armor and an M24 sniper rifle in his hand. "Catherine, the game will end right away. When we leave here, let's form a team. I'll protect you then, how about we break into the infinite space together?" Next to the woman holding the M24, an Asian man with a 2nd level head and wearing a 3rd level armor looked at the woman flatteringly. He originally had a 3rd level head, but in order to show courtesy, he gave it to the only woman in the team. Speaking of Catherine, Jin Hon said that he has never seen such a beautiful woman in his life, and those Western stars before are simply weak. The golden wavy long hair is sexy and noble, the delicate doll-like mixed-race face, the tall figure is exaggerated, the waist is fat, and the big buns owed by whose ego can hardly hold the 3rd level armor. If I hadn't opened the zipper to the maximum, I probably wouldn't be able to get it in. The slender beauty has a slender feel. If he puts on a pair of silk stockings, Jin Hon doubts whether he will die of exhaustion in these socks. Fascinated, before in the cabin, he heard Catherine's request to form a team, and he signed up without even thinking about it. "White monkey, what are you? Who the hell will team up with you? Get out of here, Catherine belongs to our brothers." On Catherine's right, 2 strong white men glared at Jin Hon with anger on their faces. Their burly figure and fierce look immediately put tremendous pressure on Jin Hon. Looking at the white brothers, Jin Hon's face turned red with anger. He wanted to shoot these 2 white men with a gun. Maybe he was afraid of these 2 white men before, but now everyone has guns in their hands. Who is afraid of whom? Is it great to be strong? Okay, stop arguing, there are still 20 people left, the game is probably going to end soon, why are you fighting among yourself at this time? Isn't it okay to form a team of 4? You know it's noisy all day long. The only woman in the team spoke, and all 3 men immediately calmed down. Looking at the 3 men through the goggles of the 3rd level head, Catherine sneered in her heart. If it was not for the final victory, she would not team up with these 3 idiots. She didn't intend to treat these 3 people as teammates. In her eyes, these 3 people were all points, and they were just temporary teammates now. The man who could take advantage of her was either dead or not yet born. Do you really think that it is so easy to take advantage of the well-known Queen Catherine in the killer world? Speaking of which, Douglas the Masked Man and Jarek the Poisonous Bee seem to be in the cabin, but I don't know if they were killed. What are you talking about, Catherine? Facing the suspicious question from the white man, Catherine shook her head with disdain and said, "It's okay, I mean I have a stomachache and I want to go to the toilet, you guys wait here, I'll be right back." "Do you want us to go with you?" "No, I'm fine by myself." Just as Catherine stood up, a large number of gunshots came from Building 1 next door, as if a fierce battle had taken place, as well as the roar of grenades, which immediately attracted the attention of the 4 people. Is there internal strife on the other side? I didn't expect that before we started fighting, there would be internal strife over there. It's best to die. Not long after Jin Hon finished speaking, the roar became more intense, and continuous prompts jumped out on the tactical panel of the four. He stared at the tactical panel dumbfounded, and the string of prompts stunned several people. Axie, this number 088 is so fierce, it's all over the screen. Before Jin Hon finished speaking, there was another burst of crazy prompts on the tactical panel, and several people were killed. I'm going. This is too fierce. Thor? One person killed 8 people. There were constant exclamations, and Catherine also frowned and looked at the tactical panel, feeling a little horrified in her heart. She didn't think it was a coincidence that one person killed 8 people. Who the hell is this Li Mu? But she doesn't have so much time to think about that now, her attention is focused on the upper right corner of the tactics panel. Survivors, 12. There are still 12 surviving players, as long as you kill 2 more, the game will be over. Looking at her 3 teammates, Catherine suddenly smiled, and she smiled brightly under the helmet. At the airport, relying on her marksmanship, she also killed a few people, and the 3 pustules were easily fooled. Anyway, the 3 men with brains believed what she said. With an extra green ball in her hand, she gently pulled out the tab. Catherine put down the fragment grenade, quietly backed out, and closed the door carefully. 3, 2, 1, 0 counting down. At the moment when Catherine dropped 0, there was a loud roar, and the powerful destructive force sent the door panel flying out instantly. Chapter 29. You knocked out your teammate with a frag grenade. Listening to the prompt in her mind, under the helmet, Catherine smiled very seductively. FK. Where did you get the grenade? Jin Hon, did you accidentally explode the grenade? Axie. How could it be me? Catherine, are you alright? Come help us. With graceful steps, Catherine walked into the room, looked at the 3 teammates who fell on the ground, took off the helmet, and immediately revealed a seductive and charming face. The mixed-race face combines all the advantages of the East and the West. The face is exquisite, the skin is fair and smooth, without any large pores of Westerners, and the blue eyes are deep and beautiful. Half squatting on the ground, the devil's curves can't be concealed even by the body armor, and the 3 kneeling on the ground are staring at each other. Catherine, help us up quickly, or we will be wiped out when someone comes. Yes, yes, the enemy threw a grenade up and knocked down the 3 of us. They will definitely come up. Catherine has no time to delay. Seeing the 3 of them, the disdain on Catherine's face grew stronger. You 3 idiots haven't figured it out yet, did I throw the grenade? Team up with you? I don't want 3 pig teammates who only know how to be jealous. Look at the tactical panel. As long as you kill the 3, the game is over. Yes, I can still get 300 points for nothing. Catherine's words made the 3 of them fall into an ice cellar, and they crawled hard to Catherine, begging, don't. Catherine, for the sake of how good I am to you, please save my life. Killing these 2 white people is enough. Please, Catherine, I will give you all the 3rd level heads. Yours. He took 2 steps back to avoid Jin Hon's grabbing hand, as if being touched was a kind of defilement. Taking out a grenade, Catherine didn't say any more nonsense, pulled out the pull ring and threw it on the ground, turned around and walked out. Boom. Ding. You killed player 074 with a fragmentation grenade, and you got 100 points. Ding. Dear player No 009, your current kill count is 6. Ding. You used a fragmentation grenade to kill player 030, and you got 100 points. Ding. Dear player 009, your current kill count is 7. Ding. You killed player 100 with a fragmentation grenade, and you got 100 points. Ding. Dear player 009, your current kill count is 8. As Catherine killed 3 teammates, the number of survivors on the tactical panel instantly became 9, and at the same time a notification sounded in the minds of all surviving players. Ding. It is detected that the number of survivors is less than 10, and the infinite game is officially over. In building number 1, Li Mu was consolidating the resources of the 2 teams, when the sudden reminder sound made him look confused. Looking at the 3 people who blossomed in an instant, Li Mu narrowed his eyes. The 3 prompts were all teammates killing them. Sure enough, he was right for not teaming up with outsiders, otherwise he might be the one who was unlucky. Beside Li Mu, Xin Lan looked confused. Is this the end? She thought it was going to be a tough fight. Ding! Dear player No 088, congratulations on becoming the king of chickens in this infinite game. You have killed 27 people, ranking first in the field. You are allowed to bring out all the items you have obtained in this world, including skills and backpacks. Dazed for a moment, Li Mu was suddenly thankful that he was the first in the field, otherwise his backpack would be gone, and the equipment he had spent a long time picking up would also be gone. Ding! It is detected that you have killed 10 people, and I will reward you with 10,000 points. Ding! The 10 times bonus talent is activated, congratulations on getting 100,000 points. Ding! It is detected that you have killed 20 people, and I will reward you with a 10% off item card. You can get a 10% off discount when you buy items in the Infinite Mall, and it can only be used once. Ding! The 10 times reward talent is activated, congratulations on getting 10% off item cards. Ding! It's unbelievable that your number of kills is as high as 29, which is close to 1/3 of the audience. I will reward you with a 10-point increase in charm. Tip: the attribute of charm will make it easier for you to attract characters in the plot world as attributes. Down. Ding! 10 times reward talent is activated, congratulations on increasing your charm by 100 points. A series of prompts fooled Li Mu, this reward is really generous. Even if there is no 10 times the reward, for a newcomer, this reward is already very generous, let alone after 10 times the reward. In this way, if he still can't rise up, he can just find a crooked neck tree and hang himself to death. Ding! All rewards have been distributed, and all surviving players will be sent to the infinite space in 1 minute. Please get ready, all players. Hearing this prompt, Li Mu's heart skipped a beat, and she quickly said to Xinlan, Xinlan, hurry up, throw out everything in your backpack. Chapter 30. Hey? Oh. There is also a reminder from Xinlan that all players' belongings will not be kept after they leave the ruined island. When Li Mu said this, she immediately moved everything out. Li Mu, big brother, what are you doing? Didn't you say it? You can't take it away. Your work is wasted. Seeing Li Mu keep taking away all the things, Xin Lan couldn't help feeling a little strange. I'm different from you guys. I'm the king of chicken eaters. I can take it back. By the way, I'll also take down your 3rd level head and 3rd level A. Can it still be like this? Throwing the armor and so on the ground, watching Li Mu take all the things away, and also took off the 3rd level armor on her body, Xinlan asked with some doubts, Li Mu, big brother, why did you pick your own too? We will teleport back to the infinite space later, who knows if we will meet again. If I wear a helmet and body armor, it is obvious that there is something wrong with me. Putting everything away, Li Mu breathed a sigh of relief. Ding! The 1-minute preparation time is over, and the transmission will begin now. There was a blur in front of her eyes. Li Mu subconsciously grasped Xinlan's little hand tightly, wondering if she was nervous or afraid. Xinlan also grasped him very tightly. The sight in front of her eyes became clear. Looking at the white space in front of her, Li Mu subconsciously clenched Xinlan's hand, and when she felt the familiar softness, Li Mu breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Xinlan is still there. Turning his head and looking around, several familiar figures appeared in front of his eyes, the mixed-race beauty Catherine, the cold man with the scar, and the ordinary-looking white youth. As for the other people, they looked timid, and Li Mu was not interested in watching them. She took a serious look at Catherine. Li Mu didn't think she was beautiful. Xinlan was no worse than her, and her childish face and big breasts couldn't compare to a mixed-race beauty. What are you kidding? Li Mu remembered that when she was in the cabin, this woman had teamed up with teammates. Now that all the strong men are dead, she is the only woman left? Are you kidding me? Li Mu felt that it was probably this woman who killed his teammate in the end. He, handsome boy, what are you looking at? Do you want to form a team? In the future, the infinite space may be difficult for one person to enter. How about it? Do you want to support each other? The bewitching, seductive voice coupled with the devil's figure and alluring face, the lethality is simply not too great. Anyway, the other few surviving men were all attracted attention. With a tight palm, the petite figure stood in front of Li Mu, with a small face, like a little hen guarding her cubs, staring at Catherine viciously. No need. Big brother already has team members here. I don't want a vixen like you. Looking at the girl standing in front of Li Mu, Catherine took a serious look at Li Mu. With her eyesight, she couldn't see how vigilant Li Mu was to her and how strong this girl was. It is not easy to lead a little girl out of the siege and survive. Catherine absolutely believes that Li Mu is the No 088 player. As the queen of the killer world, Catherine has a strong sense of smell. Every time a prompt pops up on the tactical panel, she will have calculations in her mind. In her memory, adding up the front and back, this No 088 killed at least 20 people. This is 20 people with guns, not 20 pigs. With this strength, this player No 088 is definitely not easy. Coupled with Li Mu's vigilance towards her, she can already be sure that Li Mu in front of her is that player No 088. The queen of the killer world, the 7th-ranked Dugs, and the 5th-ranked Jarek, what the three of them failed to do was done by others. How could this not be noticed by her? Ding! As a new player, you can form a team in the settlement space, and then you will officially join the F-level area of infinite space. Your personal panel has been refreshed, please pay attention in time. Ding! The settlement space can stay for 5 minutes, the countdown is over, and all players will be placed in the F-level area. Pulling Xinlan, Li Mu ignored Catherine, turned her head and walked away, not getting involved in the affairs here. Li Mu's departure made Catherine a little disappointed. Li Mu caught her eyes enough. There is a big difference between a good teammate and a pig teammate. In particular, Li Mu has an unknown charm, which is very attractive to her. Being dragged away by Li Mu, Xinlan was very happy. Li Mu was able to drag her away without looking at the vixen, which showed that Li Mu still attached great importance to her. Tired of staying with Li Mu, there is no danger, Xinlan hugged Li Mu and would not let go, rubbing her little face. It was hard for Li Mu. Don't you know you are growing well? Isn't squeezing the dough a test of his concentration? Sorry, there is no need to test, and the flag is raised to salute. Feeling embarrassed by Li Mu, Xinlan didn't want to let go, so she raised her head and moved towards Li Mu. Chapter 31. Li Mu could feel that Xinlan was a little nervous and Zai was a little cold, but the softness and fragrance made him a little fascinated. Ding! The countdown is over, and the teleportation begins now. After waking up, Xinlan didn't know how she could be so bold, she shrank into Li Mu's arms with her small face. Taking advantage of it for several minutes, Li Mu couldn't be happier, still reminiscing about the little girl's fragrance in his mouth. Ding! Dear player, this is an F-level area. The infinite game comes with a personal space. In the personal space, you will not be harmed, and outsiders are not allowed to enter your personal area. After recovering, still holding Xinlan in her arms, Li Mu raised her head and looked around, with a sense of absurdity in her eyes. The personal area in front of him was like an apartment building, with 3 bedrooms, 1 living room, and a kitchen. He wondered if he had been sent back to the real world. But the only thing that gives Li Mu a sense of infinite space is the white light ball on the coffee table in the living room. Taking Xinlan to the front of the white ball of light, Li Mu tentatively put her hand on it. Ding! Dear player, since it's your first time in the infinite space, do you want to open the infinite store, or do you need to strengthen your personal attributes? Strengthen personal attributes? Li Mu couldn't help opening up her personal attributes. Character, Li Mu strength, 0.7 plus, F, dexterity, 0.9 plus, F, spirit, 1.4 plus, F, physique, 1 plus, F, hidden attribute charm, 100, SSS, perception, 14, F, lucky, 15, F, comprehensive strength evaluation, F special ancestry, none skills, advanced gun proficiency talent, 10 times reward possessed items, discount prop card X10, M24 sniper rifle, AWM sniper rifle, AKM assault rifle, M249 light machine gun, 3rd level helmet X5, 3rd level body armor X12, fragmentation grenade X257, smoke bomb X189, shock bomb X195, medical box X13, first aid kit X157, 7.62 bullet X17841, 5.56 bullet X14510, magnum bullet X20 character points, 13,2800 points teammate, Li Xinlan looking at a bunch of plus signs, Li Mu tentatively clicked, and a prompt popped up immediately. Ding! Do you want to consume 100 points to increase your strength by 0.1 points? 100 points to increase by 0.1? This is really a bit of a pitfall. This is him. If it were someone else, he probably wouldn't be able to improve a lot, right? Without spending points hastily, Li Mu looked at the hidden attribute and didn't add a plus sign. It is likely that the hidden attribute cannot be improved with points. Open the Infinite Store. Ding! It is detected that you are the first novice player. The system will give you the right to buy unlimited stores with a 10% discount. The opportunity to use it is limited to one time. After using it, the various props will return to their original prices. Another discount? Li Mu was overjoyed, but he wondered if he could use the folded item cards in his backpack together, if possible. With 130,000 points, he can buy super props that can only be obtained with 10 million points. Ding! Now we are randomly screening props for you. Screening props? Li Mu was taken aback for a moment. CO authored, isn't the entire Infinity Store discounted? If this is to filter out the garbage, wouldn't his discount be in vain? Ding! The screening is complete. Do you want to open a discount store? Can't afford to offend the infinite space, Li Mu can only admit it. Anyway, it's a discount for nothing, don't want it for nothing. Open! A picture suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Looking at the dazzling array of store items, Li Mu wanted to rob the infinite store. This is different from what he thought. Nothing crap, all good stuff. It's just very expensive. Li Mu thought, if it's an ordinary rookie king, let alone a 10% discount, they can't afford a 100% discount. Bloodline of the Demon King, potential SSS level, price, 8 million points. Bloodline of Death, potential SSS level, price, 7 million points. Angel Bloodline, potential SSS level, price, 8 million points. Dragon Bloodline, potential SSS level, price, 6 million points. Remarks, after use, a dragon bloodline can be randomly obtained. Resurrection coins, can be used to revive teammates or yourself, price, 100,000 points, limited to grade B and below. 9-turn golden pill, SS level, price, 3 million points. After taking it, it can increase 100 free attributes below SSS level. Remarks, as long as there is still a breath, no matter how serious the injury is, it can be recovered. Substitute puppet, price, 100,000 points. Remarks, after recognizing the master with a drop of blood, it can resist a fatal injury for you and teleport you to a safe area within 10 kilometers. Look, it's a few million points at every turn, and the less is 100,000 points, even if it's a 10% discount, it costs 800,000. Who can afford it? If he didn't have 10 times the reward talent, he could just watch and buy a resurrection coin at most, a substitute puppet or something. To be honest, Li Mu is very envious of those talents with millions of points. How much he wants to have one. He doesn't despise human blood, but human is not blood at all. Look at the bloodline. Empty. Human beings are not counted in the blood. Big light sphere, may I ask, in the infinite world, what is the use of blood? Chapter 32. The infinite space is based on strength. High-level bloodlines can improve your 4-dimensional attributes. Excellent bloodlines can also provide exclusive skills, allowing you to progress faster and make it easier to survive in the infinite world. Blinking his eyes, Li Mu immediately had an idea. He tried it just now. It takes points to improve his personal attributes, and 100 points is only 0.1. This amount of points is too much to spend. Moreover, there are also skills and props in the Infinity Store. It seems that if you want to obtain powerful skills, you also need to buy them. Of course, this also requires points. Calculated in this way, bloodlines can not only improve attributes, but also provide skills. You can know the importance of bloodlines in infinite space without even thinking about it. Big light sphere, how is the rating of personal attributes calculated? How can this F rank be improved? Strength ratings are based on 4-dimensional attributes. Any 2 attributes that meet the standard can be upgraded to the corresponding level. The strength standard for F level is that any 2 attributes reach 10 points, and every 100 points spent will increase the attribute by 0.1. Any 2 attributes reaching 10 points are considered F level. These 2 add up to 20 points, and 100 points are only 0.1 attribute. If all points are used, at least 20,000 points are needed. He took a deep breath. 20,000 points is a huge sum of money. Don't look at the horse, he has more points now. If he didn't have 10 times the talent, he would only be worth 10,000 points now. If it were someone else, they probably would not dare to spend points to improve their attributes. They should prepare some props for the next world, right? Leaving the novice world, players are all clean, let alone guns, not even a bullet. Do I have extra points to improve my strength after buying something? 20,000 points if this is a normal infinite player. If it goes well, it won't be able to save 5 or 6 worlds. To put it bluntly, a Desert Eagle sells for 200 points in the Infinity Store, and a bullet costs 1 point. This is all money. 50 points for the first level body armor, 100 points for the second level body armor, and 200 points for the third level body armor. Helmets are the same price. With this equipment, you need 400 points for low configuration, 100 bullets for a gun, a first level armor set, 500 for medium configuration, and 700 for high configuration. How many novice players have 700 points? Even if it is a low configuration, some players may not be enough. Can this next world survive? Just the F level is so scary, Li Mu can't even think about the following levels. From F level to SSS level, there are 10 levels. He just wanted to know, has anyone reached the SSS level? That's probably God level, right? Big light ball, what about after F class? Level E requires 2 attributes to reach 20 points, and the other 2 attributes cannot be lower than 10 points. 200 points can increase the attribute by 0.1. Level D requires 30 points in both attributes, and the other 2 attributes cannot be lower than 15 points. 300 points can increase the attribute by 0.1. Level C requires 60 points in both attributes, and the other 2 attributes cannot be lower than 30 points. 600 points can increase the attribute by 0.1. Class B requires 2 attributes to reach 100 points, the other 2 attributes cannot be lower than 50 points, and 700 points can increase the attribute by 0.1. Class A. Say no more. Before De Guangkaiyu could continue talking, Li Mu stopped it directly. This is too scary, doubled points, others don't have his talent. SSS level? Not to mention the SSS level, there are no A-level infinite players, but at least they have experienced and survived more than 500 games, right? Li Mu doesn't think that the infinite space is a nursery school. Just look at the map of the island, the survival rate is 1/10, what a near death. Points are so scarce, can anyone really save money to buy blood? Li Mu was suspicious. Big light ball, let me ask you one more thing. Bloodlines are so expensive. The lowest ones are all C-grade bloodlines. The price is 50,000. If it's so expensive, will anyone buy it? Bloodlines don't need to be purchased in the Infinity Store, they can also be obtained in the Infinite World, but the dangers are unknown, accidents may occur, and low-level bloodlines can also be obtained for some tasks. Nodded, it makes sense in this way, the Infinite game is not without a little hope, but the blood in the Infinite World. I'm afraid it's not easy to take. Taking a look at his points, it's more than 130,000. It seems that there are not many things he can buy. He really wants those SSS level bloodlines. Being able to evaluate threes has already proved his potential. It would be a lie to say that he is not greedy. Among these bloodlines, Li Mu is in the bloodline of the Demon King, angels, and so on. They are too bright, he was originally doing murder, so the lightness does not conform to his nature. But the blood of the Devil King is too expensive, 8 million points, who can stand it, can anyone afford it? Even a 10% discount is 800,000. Silently glanced at the folded item card in the backpack, Li Mu's eyes were full of emotion. De Guangkaiyu, let me ask you, can this discounted item card be used? Chapter 33. Ding. It has been detected that the player has a 10% off item card. This item card does not conflict with the 10% off reward from the Rookie King and can be used. Hiss. God knows how excited Li Mu was after the big ball of light finished speaking. The 10% off reward from the Rookie King directly turned the Demon King's blood worth 8 million points into 800,000 points, which can now be superimposed. The Devil's blood that can only be purchased with 800,000 points can now be bought with 80,000 points. Li Mu didn't know how to express his inner excitement. 80,000 points. If he didn't have the 10% discount reward from the Rookie King and the 10% discount card for killing 20 people, it would be impossible for him to buy the bloodline of the SSS level. After crushing a folded item card in his hand, a pleasant prompt sounded in Li Mu's mind. Ding! With a 10% discount item card, you can choose any item to buy and enjoy a 10% discount. Note that you can only buy one item. The item card is originally a single item, so don't even think about discounting it in the whole store, but Li Mu is already full, the blood of the Devil King. He came. Just when Li Mu was about to buy the blood of the Demon King, he suddenly saw something out of the corner of his eye and couldn't help but stop. Dark Bloodline Gift Pack, SSS grade, priced at 10 million points. It contains all the bloodlines of the Dark Forces. What are you waiting for? Action is worse than heart. Buy a future for yourself and your teammates. Randomly refreshed, the Blood Gift Pack is unique. Bloodline Spree? Teammate? Thinking of this, Li Mu couldn't help but exit the system store, and looked at the legal lowly Li Xinlan beside her. Now the little girl seems to be communicating with the big light ball. Li Mu thought about it, and opened the infinite store again. Li Mu is a more realistic person. If you treat me well, I will treat you well. If you treat me badly, I will definitely kill you. Xinlan has already made up his mind. Not to mention that this little lowly is obedient, he doesn't want to be a single dog, and most importantly, he has enough points to buy this bloodline gift package, but he doesn't know what will happen to the bloodline. But the 3's level evaluation is there, it will definitely not be bad. The finger stayed on the dark blood gift bag for a moment, and Li Mu clicked it without hesitation. Ding! The price of the dark bloodline gift pack is 10 million points. After the discount for the Rookie King, you need to spend 1 million points. It is detected that you are using a discounted item card. Now you need to spend 100,000 points. Do you want to spend 100,000 points? Buy. Yes. Ding! 100,000 points have been deducted. Congratulations on getting the Dark Bloodline gift package, and the remaining points are 3,2800 points. Losing 100,000 points in an instant, Li Mu felt a little distressed, and glanced at the infinite store, and finally Li Mu bought 3 stand-in puppets. A total of 300,000 points for these 3 items, after 10% off, 30,000 points. The purpose of buying a stand-in puppet is to resist fatal attacks. Li Mu did not despise the infinite space because of the talent of 10 times the reward. One more life is always good. Looking at the remaining 2,800 points, Li Mu suddenly felt how poor he is. If you don't buy anything, you won't get points. After exiting the infinity store, Li Mu turned her head and immediately met Xinlan's pitiful eyes. Almost amused by Xinlan's eyes, Li Mu couldn't help asking, "What's wrong?" "Wuo, Xinlan only has 280 points, and I can't afford anything. I can only buy a 100-point triangular army thorn." Xinlan, who was hit hard, was a grievance. In the real world, she was also a rich and beautiful woman. She had never been short of money, but in the infinite space, she was poorer than a beggar and could only buy a triangular army thorn. It was too heartbreaking. Touching Xinlan's soft hair, Li Mu comforted, "It's okay, there's still Big Brother here, wait a moment, Big Brother will give you something good." Opening the backpack, looking at the dark blood gift pack quietly placed inside, Li Mu said silently, "Open." Ding! You used the dark blood gift package, and it was detected that your team, including you, has a total of 2 players. Now start to randomly screen the dark blood. Ding! Attention, the dark bloodline gift pack only has 10 bloodlines. If the number exceeds the number of uses, the dark bloodline gift pack will disappear. Li Mu. At first, I was thinking about whether I could sell my blood to become rich, but I was cut off in an instant. Then I thought about it, 10 million points 10 blood, a lot of sincerity. Now Li Mu hopes that the bloodline is not too bad, at least SS level, right? Otherwise, S level is fine, don't randomly get below S level, it will hurt too much. Just as Li Mu was praying, a notification sound came. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining SSS level Dark Bloodline, Succubus Bloodline. Li Mu? He wants a succubus with a hammer? But the SSS level is definitely a profit, the store sells 600W points. Ding! Congratulations on getting. Chapter 34. When the second reminder came, Li Mu's heart was raised instantly. He didn't like the succubus bloodline. If the bloodline was worse, it would be a mess. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining the SSS level Dark Bloodline, the bloodline of the Devil King FK. Racking his brains, Li Mu couldn't think of other words to describe the excitement in his heart even if he had a diploma from a higher university. Even if I have a great education, I'm still walking around the world. This is the bloodline of an SSS level Devil King. The price of the infinite store is 8 million. The bloodline he wanted to buy at the beginning, now? Is this white prostitution? Even if the back of this dark blood gift package is full of rubbish, it's definitely worth it. A succubus bloodline and a demon king's bloodline add up to 14 million points, which is worth far more than the price of the dark bloodline spree. What's more, he only spent 100,000 points, what a bloody profit. In front of Li Mu, little Xinlan Lolita was shocked when she saw Li Mu's flushed face. Li Mu, big brother, are you okay? In fact, it's okay if you don't have anything for Xinlan. Don't get excited, Xinlan doesn't want anything. Xinlan little Loli is panicking now she is Li Mu as a family member, and she is still her man, he doesn't want anything to happen to Li Mu, isn't it just a prop? She doesn't want it anymore. Being shaken back to his senses, seeing Xinlan's frightened and nervous look, Li Mu quickly comforted her, it's okay, big brother really has something good for you, just wait for me to get it for you. Confirm that the user of the succubus blood is Li Xinlan. Ding! The user of the succubus bloodline is confirmed to be teammate Li Xinlan, and now he will inherit the bloodline. The prompt sounded, and a purple beam of light fell, instantly covering the bewildered Xinlan. What is this? Li Mu, big brother, Before she could finish her sentence, Li Mu understood that she was accepting the inheritance of the bloodline when she watched Xinlan float up slowly, so Li Mu quickly confirmed the bloodline of the Demon King. Use the blood of the Devil King. Ding! The inheritance of the Demon King's bloodline begins now, and the use is Li Mu. The same purple beam of light fell, and the blood belonging to the devil began to boil in Li Mu's body, and a huge amount of inherited knowledge was crammed into his mind. Under the baptism of blood, Li Mu's body became stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye, and the four-dimensional attributes kept beating. Power, 0.7, 1, 1.5, 2, 3, 5 Dexterity, 0.9, 1, 1.5, 2.1, 3, 5.3 Spirit, 1.4, 2, 3, 4, 6 Physique, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.7 The four-dimensional attributes were refreshed crazily. In just a few minutes, the collective reached more than 5 points, and it has not stopped. Opposite Li Mu, Xinlan is also undergoing changes, her long black hair has gradually turned pink, and there are even 2 cute devil horns on her head. Li Mu's already unmaintainable figure is even more attractive. The 2 big buns have grown more than a circle, the slender waist has faded, the delicate jade feet, and the pink devil's wings are waving, with an irresistible charm. Ding! The Demon King's inheritance has been completed. Your bloodline awakening level is 1/100. Please work harder to increase the bloodline's awakening level. The improvement of bloodline will bring you a considerable attribute improvement. The purple beam of light disappeared, and Li Mu opened his eyes. He felt completely different from before, and he clenched his fists. He felt that with this fist, an elephant would be crushed to death. A feeling of powerlessness came from inside the body, like being hungry, very hungry, unable to stand. Li Mu suddenly fell down from a height of 1 meter. Like instinct, before landing, Li Mu adjusted his landing posture in an instant, and stood firmly on the ground with both feet. It's about to fall. Li Mu didn't understand what was going on, when suddenly there was a scream. Li Mu looked up quickly, and saw that Xinlan was the same as her, but a pair of pink wings seemed to have disappeared. Standing steadily on the ground, Xinlan looked at her own body curiously, obviously wondering why it was fine when she fell. The inheritance of the force-feeding style gave Li Mu and Xinlan an instinctive response, but if they want to use it proficiently, they still need to fight to get used to it. Xinlan, are you okay? Walking to Xinlan's side, looking at the little Lolita who is obviously very different from just now, Li Mu suddenly felt hot for some reason. He also woke up instantly. Ding, you are slightly charmed by your teammate Li Xinlan. As the king of demons, you are immune to this attack. Li Mu? Looking at Xinlan who was still confused, Li Mu immediately understood that it was most likely the charming aura that the little girl was not familiar with her own power and subconsciously exuded. But speaking of it, this succubus bloodline is really not covered. The originally cute little Lolita is now more indescribably alluring, especially when paired with Xinlan's pure, innocent little face. This is simply the combination of an angel and a devil. Every move exudes a temptation that makes his blood boil. Who can resist it? Chapter 35. She couldn't stand it anymore. but looking at the little girl with a dazed expression on her face, Li Mu only felt a fishy smell in her nose, probably because she was on fire. Xinlan, how are your attributes now? Show me. Ah? Oh. Xinlan, who was in a daze, heard Li Mu's words. Although she felt a little hoarse, she didn't feel that something was wrong. It just felt like a big stove was standing beside her. Character, Li Xinlan Strength, 5 Agility, 5.5 Spirit, 6.4 Constitution, 5.2 Comprehensive Strength Evaluation, F Special Lineage, Succubus, SSS, Bloodline Awakening Degree, 1/100 Skills, Succubus Transformation, Charming Eye, Primary Restoration Talent, Enchantment, SS, Owned Items, None Character Points, 280 points. Captain, Li Mu Succubus Transformation, it can change into the succubus body, the 4-dimensional attribute is increased, and the strength is enhanced. The duration is determined according to the degree of blood awakening. Currently, it is 5 seconds. Charming Eye, it can create hallucinations on the enemy, no need to look directly, the time depends on the difference in strength between the two sides. Primary Recovery, as a high-level demon, even if the bloodline awakening level is very low, he still has the recovery ability that demons are proud of. Increasing the bloodline awakening level can upgrade the resilience. This is an extra bloodline, just like opening a cheat, the 4-dimensional attribute has been greatly improved, this has increased by at least 17 or 8 points, right? How many points is this? Nearly 20,000. There is one more talent and 3 skills. This bloodline is really awesome, and the money is not for nothing. This is only 1% bloodline awakening, if it is 100%, is it okay? After reading Xinlan's attributes, Li Mu didn't care about being shocked, and quickly opened her attributes. Character, Li Mu Strength, 6.8 Agility, 6.3 Spirit, 6.6 Physique, 6.7 Hidden Attribute Charm, 100, SSS, Perception, 40 Lucky, 21 Comprehensive Strength Evaluation, F Special Bloodline, Demon King Bloodline, SSS, Bloodline Awakening Degree, 1/100 Skills, Demon King Transformation, Hell Demon Flame, Dark Magic Ball, Primary Recovery Talent, 10 times Reward Possessed Items, Dark Bloodline Gift Pack, 8/10, Stand-in Puppet X3, Discount Prop Card X9, Guns and Ammunition are not written, to prevent the number of words. Character Points, 2,800 points. Teammate, Li Xinlan Transformation of the Devil King, as a noble Devil King in Hell, you can transform into the Devil Body, the 4-dimensional attribute is enhanced, and the duration is determined according to the degree of blood awakening. Currently, it is 5 seconds. Hell Demon Flame, as the Supreme Ruler of Hell, you can summon Hell's magic flame to burn the soul of the enemy, the soul will not die, and the magic flame will never end. Note, the difference in strength is too large, and the magic flame will not work. Dark Magic Ball, condense the power of the devil in the body to form an energy sphere, which can cause huge destructive power. Primary Recovery, as a noble Demon King in Hell, even if the bloodline awakening level is very low, he still has a terrifying recovery ability. Increasing the bloodline awakening level can upgrade resilience. I was almost stunned by my luxurious attribute layout, all 4-dimensional attributes have been raised to more than 6 points, adding up to more than 20 points, and I earned more than 20,000 points for nothing. And these skills? As expected of the SSS bloodline, the leader of the Hell Demon world, the Noble King, even one more initial skill. Li Mu Big Brother, show me yours, I don't know yours yet, show me quickly. Chapter 36. Li Mu had a dream. In the dream, he was all-powerful, the galaxy shattered when he raised his hand, surrounded by all the beauties, pinching his shoulders and back for him, tasting flute and jade, that kind of pleasure made him move involuntarily. Well. Li Mu Big Brother, don't move, wake up, Xinlan's bloodline has actually improved. The slight shaking and the seductive sound woke Li Mu up. Looking at the big bun in his hand and the body that hadn't been separated, Li Mu immediately understood what was going on in the dream. Not willing to let go, Li Mu looked up at Xinlan, the pretty face of the little succubus who had been well fed became more and more seductive. Li Mu didn't even hear what Xinlan said, and Li Mu, who had finished recharging her energy, showed a man again of glory. Don't. Li Mu Big Brother. Don't. No? Really? Ugh, no. With a smile, the two who had just woken up were entangled again, and the cries were filled with joy. It took a long time before it ended. Holding Xinlan in her arms, Li Mu remembered what she had heard before, and couldn't help asking, "You said the bloodline has been improved? What's going on?" Lying on Li Mu's body, after the fierce battle, Xinlan was lazy, and her seductive little face was full of dizziness after excessive exhaustion. It means that the degree of awakening of the blood vessels has become 2/100, and the time for transforming is a little longer, and it has become 10 seconds. Hearing Xinlan's lazy voice, Li Mu was stunned. "What's the situation? I took a look at my blood, it was still 1/100, why didn't his blood improve?" "Xinlan, what's the matter with your blood? Let me take a look first." After opening the attribute of Xinlan, all the indicators have not changed, except that the bloodline has become 2/100, Li Mu clicked it, and some introductions appeared immediately. Li Mu was stunned after reading it. Succubus live off the essence of men, so each succubus is a juicer, and raising the degree of blood awakening is also very simple, just squeeze the juice. Just like the current Xinlan, if he squeezes it once, his bloodline awakening degree will be +1, but that will not be the case later. If 2/100 wants to improve, his bloodline must also reach 2/100, and it will take 2 more times. Row. Of course, 1/100 of his bloodline awakening level is also possible, but it needs 4 times to fill it up with the number, and this level of awakening is multiplied. 3/100 needs 4 times, 4/100 needs 8 times, 5/100 needs 16 times, and they are all at the same level of bloodline awakening, otherwise, the lower the level, the more times needed. Patting Xinlan's delicate cheeks, Li Mu said, "Your blood, do you understand now?" Nodding her head, Xinlan is also confused now, this succubus bloodline is too. Blinking her big and seductive eyes, Xinlan touched her body, and said softly, "Li Mu big brother, Xinlan can rely on you in the future. Please leave me with the matter of the bloodline. God knows what happened to this succubus bloodline, the well-behaved and innocent little lowly turned into this charming appearance now, this is his life. Turned over, another war broke out. Xinlan said that in the future, I'm so sleepy now, really don't want it. Then, woo, bully people, let's do it for the last time." More than an hour later, Li Mu got fully dressed and walked out of the residence. As for Xinlan, she had already fallen asleep after 2 rehearsals. What kind of succubus juicer? Juicer, you have to submit obediently to him, the Devil King. It was only then that Li Mu realized that infinity space doesn't just stay in the residence. The next infinity game will be opened a week later, and within this week, you can move freely. Of course, it is in infinite space. Is the F-level area considered a novice village? Each player's residence is a safe area. Without permission, they cannot enter. When they do not enter the game, players can move freely in the F-level area and conduct transactions. Walking on the street, Li Mu feels like a world away. The F-level area is like a normal city, but in the endless distance, outside the city is a palpitating darkness. "Hey, friend, looking at you, is this the first time a rookie player has passed the game?" Just as Li Mu was looking around, a friendly voice came. Turning his head to look in the direction of the sound, a round fat man was sitting on a chair and looking at him, his shining eyes reminded Li Mu of the word profiteer. Zheng Zhou didn't know what was going on in the infinite space, since someone greeted him, he might as well inquire about the news. Walking to the fat man, Li Mu pulled a chair and sat down, and asked curiously, "It seems that the old man is old? I don't know if I have any advice. I don't dare to advise you. Let me introduce you. I'm a Shangguan from Haoyang Xing. As for the profession, I'm an information seller. You're here for the first time, little brother. There should be a lot you want to know, right? Information is not expensive, 10 points per question, how about it?" Haoyang Xing? Li Mu was confused, "Aren't you from Earth?" Chapter 37. My friend, what do you think? Tell me a word? 10 points is not expensive anymore. The necessary information is very useful. Recovering from the bewilderment, looking at the fat man in front of him, Li Mu suddenly had an idea. Is this the legendary alien? There is no such thing as a green skin and a big head, and this Shangguan is really good at acting, are you sure you are not teasing him? Let me ask, what kind of planets are there people in the F-level area? From your words, it seems that you are not from the same planet as me. As if thinking that Li Mu would ask this question, Shang Guan shook his fat head and said, basically every newcomer will ask you this question. Brother, I don't want your points, so I will tell you. How did this infinite game come about? I don't know. After all, we are just a group of miscellaneous soldiers. But as far as my brother knows, it seems that in the entire F-level area, all players are from major life planets, such as me, Hao Yangxing, what else? Tian Dangxing, Lai Yangxing, and so on. By the way, which planet are you from, my friend? Looking at the curious Shang Guanggan, Li Mu had nothing to hide, I am from Earth. Earth? Shang Guanggan looked confused, never heard of it, is it another new planet? Seeing Shangwen's bewildered look, Li Mu understood in his heart, probably this fat man has never heard of this planet, could it be that he is the first batch of players on Earth? Friend, this is the first time I've heard of your planet. It should be a planet of life newly discovered by Infinity Games. Do you have any questions? My brother can basically answer you here. Looking at Shang Guanggan who let go of his rhetoric, Li Mu really has a lot to ask. For a newcomer, information is very important. Pointing to the dark sky in the distance, Li Mu asked, what's the situation? Why is the sky outside the city so dark that it always feels ominous? Turning his head to look at the dark grey sky in the distance, Shang Guanggan's small eyes squeezed by fat flashed fear, and said, it's an ominous place, the abyss of death, but there are great opportunities. Have you checked your attribute bar? Upgrading attributes requires points, but when you go out and kill monsters in the dark, you can get important items that increase attributes. So even if the outside world is very dangerous, many people rush out without fear of death. Looking at the sky in the distance, Li Mu suddenly became interested. Killing monsters can get things that increase attributes? Have you ever seen something that can improve attributes? What does it look like? Will all monsters drop it? Even with 10 times the reward, Li Mu will not dislike having too many points. With a substitute for improving attributes, he can save a lot of points. Rubbing his fat fingers, and making a gesture of money, Shang Guan smiled, looking particularly wretched. My friend, you need to spend money to buy news. I've told you a lot before, plus the previous ones, let's count your 3 questions. 30 points, isn't it expensive? Compared with these news, 30 points are indeed not expensive, and Li Mu is not stingy, and the 30 points have passed through the direct transaction. After getting the points, Shang Guanggan smiled and continued, about the items that can improve attributes, this is very simple. Kill the monsters outside, and there will be a crystal nucleus in their heads. A crystal nucleus can increase the attribute by 0.1, but not all monsters have it. It depends on luck and strength. How to say? Watching the movement of the dead fat man's fingers, Li Mu traded 10 points again. Some monsters in the dark have low strength and have crystal nuclei in their heads, but most of them don't have any. But those powerful monsters basically have crystal nuclei in their heads. The weak can only try their luck, while the strong just kill the powerful monster directly. After shaking his head, he looked at the pensive Li Mu. Shang Guanggan smiled and asked, friend, do you have anything else to ask? Looking up at the fat man in front of him, Li Mu asked, brother, how many times have you experienced worlds? Are those worlds difficult? Also, is our F-level area high mortality? After finishing speaking, Li Mu traded 30 points again. After collecting the points, Shang Guanggan looked at Li Mu as if he was looking at the benefactor's father. It took only a few minutes to reach 70 points. I have experienced 4 worlds. Some of those worlds are difficult and some are easy. My brother also asked others. The world in our F-level area is not difficult, but the death rate is very high. For example, the world of Wasteland, the world of Grand Theft Auto, the world of The Walking Dead, and the world of Aliens. The power system is not too high, but the death rate is extremely high. Either it's a zombie siege, or an alien monster, or it's being besieged. In short, the danger is very high and the death rate is also high. Hey friend! What's wrong with you? Li Mu is dumbfounded. Wasteland? Grand Theft Auto? The Walking Dead? Alien? How is this so Earth-like in movies and games? Chapter 38. Now Li Mu is very excited. He feels that his points are not in vain. If it is really what he thinks, the infinite games are all games and movies on the Earth, and he really has a great advantage. After spending 30 points again to ask a few questions, Li Mu has confirmed his thoughts. The 30 points are not unfair. He asked Shang Guanggan in detail. The world experienced in the F-level area is undoubtedly all movies, animations, and games on the Earth, but they are all relatively low-level ones. But without exception, they are all games with a high mortality rate. For example, The Walking Dead is a survival game. If you survive the specified time without dying, you can get points and release tasks. The rewards of the tasks are not bad. But are the zombies all over the mountains and plains really so easy to survive? After graduation, Li Mu is considered an up-host, often posting some video commentary, so he has a good understanding of movies, games, or animation. Let's talk about The Walking Dead. This is the American version of the zombie TV series. It has no supernatural powers and is completely ordinary. It also shows the horror of zombies and the despair of the end. It can be said that the whole TV series is either escaping for their lives, or on the way to escaping. How many people died in the protagonist's team? As for the aliens, the level is indeed a bit high. The horror of the aliens is that they are born to be killing weapons. Terrifying reproduction speed, super growth speed, and silent assassination, as well as the strong adaptability of aliens, and their blood is highly corrosive, even the materials of spaceships can't stop the strong corrosion **X. In this kind of world, the death rate should not be too high. Li Mu knows it very well, and the more she understands its horror, coupled with the improvement of spiritual attributes, the memory that was originally forgotten becomes clearer. The horror of discovery. Raising his head to look at the sky outside the city, Li Mu decided to take Xinlan to see if he had time during this period of time, to see if he could gain something. Friend, are you going to go hunting outside? For the sake of your generosity, brother, I will give you a piece of information for free. When the light of the city is about to dim, don't hesitate to come back as fast as possible. The night is coming, and there is great horror in the dark world. Seeing the serious expression on Shang Guanfatty's face, Li Mu nodded, stood up and walked towards the direction she came from. His eyes swept across the sparsely populated streets. It was unimaginable that all the people in the entire area came from various planets. As for the sparsely populated streets, they should go to the darkness outside the city to improve their strength. In the infinite space, people without strength will only slowly die. If they want to live, they must constantly struggle to survive and survive in the cracks. Phew! It looks like you have 10 times the reward talent. If you don't work hard, you will be surpassed by others. Go back and see if Xinlan has rested, and I am going to go outside to have a look. Walking quickly, just when Li Mu was in a hurry to go back, a voice of charming laughter came from the right. He he he, handsome boy, what are you going to do in such a hurry? Stopping in her tracks, Li Mu frowned and looked towards the direction of the sound. She had a figure like a devil, a face like an angel, and exuded an aura that made her mouth dry. How could Li Mu not recognize it? This is clearly the woman who survived on Earth. If it weren't for the inability to do anything in the city, Li Mu would want to kill this woman now. This woman is like a time bomb. He can't even figure out what this woman is from, and she is from Earth. Being from Earth means knowing the plot, and Li Mu doesn't want anyone but him to know this secret. If people don't kill the world for themselves, and let the enemy become stronger, that is slow suicide. Catherine was also a little surprised. When she saw Li Mu before, she felt like an ordinary person, but now she actually felt murderous in Li Mu. Moreover, this depressive feeling seemed to be suffocating, and it seemed that she would be killed in the next second. Catherine immediately became vigilant. She had guessed before that Li Mu was the king of eating chicken. Although she didn't know what the reward would be, she could tell just by looking at Li Mu's aura now, it was definitely not easy. She killed 8 people in the game and got a total of 800 points. After leaving the house, she didn't even have a knife. She also faced the dilemma of insufficient points in the big light sphere, and it took 100 points to increase an attribute by 0.1, and all her points added up were not enough to increase an attribute by 1 point. After buying a set of level 3 armor, a desert eagle, 100 rounds of ammunition, and a triangular army thorn, she now has no points at all. But what about the man in front of him? How many times has he strengthened his attributes? To give him such a sense of oppression? They are both players, so why is there such a big difference? Chapter 39. He he he, handsome boy, why are you looking at him like this, as if you want to eat him up? After all, she is also a female killer with the title of queen. Catherine quickly realized it, giggling coquettishly, as if she hadn't noticed anything. I really want to eat you, the kind that doesn't even spit out the bones. After saying this, Li Mu stared at Catherine, and slowly relaxed her clenched fist. Li Mu knew that he couldn't kill Catherine in this safe area, but... Thinking of the situation outside the city, Li Mu said, I'll give you a piece of advice. In the world outside the city, there are crystal nuclei in the monster's head. Each crystal nuclei can increase the attribute by 0.1. It's up to you whether you go or not. After saying this, Li Mu left without looking back. He knew that Catherine would be suspicious, but it didn't matter, he was a conspiracy. The outside world can become stronger, will you go? If you don't go, you will die slowly, but if you go, you may not be able to live. When the night comes, there will be great terror in the outside world. Li Mu remembers this sentence very clearly, but does Catherine know? At least not for now. Li Mu doesn't know how terrifying the outside world of Black Night Roar is, but killing Catherine should be enough. Most importantly, he also needs to go outside with Xinlan. It's still the same sentence, people don't kill heaven and earth for themselves, this woman is very dangerous, and keeping it is a disaster. Seeing Li Mu leave without looking back, Catherine slowly relaxed her vigilance. Although she knew that Li Mu could not kill her, she was still a little afraid. That breath was so strong that she couldn't breathe. She couldn't even imagine how strong Li Mu is now. As for the advice before leaving. Frowning, Catherine looked at the players who were hurrying in the distance. At most, the players who gave her a surprised look, turned their heads and walked out of the city. She wants to see if there are any players who have left the city and confirm with her own eyes whether what Li Mu said is true. She can feel Li Mu's vigilance and killing intent towards her. I don't know if there is any danger. Monster? Crystal nucleus? Improve attributes? This is indeed a great temptation to her. As a killer, she has extraordinary strength, agility, physique, and spirit. Her four-dimensional attributes are all above 1 point, and even the weakest strength is as high as 1.3. The strength attribute of infinite space uses the average value, taking the high to make up for the low. The impact force of 1 point of strength is 50 kilograms. As a woman, it is terrifying to be able to evaluate 1.3, which is a full 65 kilograms of strength. Judging from the appearance, Catherine has a bumpy figure, and there are no obvious muscle lines on her arms. Who would have known that the punch strength of this female killer is as high as 65 kilograms? I'm afraid that if caught off guard, players with 2 or even 3 attributes will be killed, right? After all, killers do the job of assassination. Tracking and concealment are compulsory courses for killers. Following several players all the way out of the city, Catherine felt very uncomfortable the moment she stepped out of the city, as if she had been cursed by something. Seeing the players walking away, Catherine lowered her head and chased after them. She wanted to see what these people were going to do. Before going far, Catherine saw the so-called monster, like a demonized creature in the game, an insect? Skeleton? And zombies? These monsters are wandering in the dark. The player team in front is like fighting monsters and upgrading in the game. They lure monsters around and kill them. Every time they kill a monster, they have to knock on the head to search for something. Crystal nucleus. Catherine remembers what Li Mu said, the crystal nucleus can increase the attribute by 0.1, which is equivalent to gaining 100 points. In this way, the points can still be saved. Step by step, Catherine found that these players dare not run too far. The darkness is like an abyss, and new monsters can always come out of it, and they can't be killed. Not all of these monsters can get a crystal nucleus. As far as Catherine saw, many players killed 40 or 50 monsters during the advancement process, but none of them got a crystal nucleus. And those players weren't annoyed at all, it seemed like this kind of thing was very common. Obtaining the crystal nucleus doesn't seem to be easy, and it seems that 100 points are not so easy to obtain, and these monsters are not weak, with rough skin and thick flesh, and strong attack power. Catherine saw that a monster slapped a player, and the player who was stronger than her vomited blood and fell back, presumably suffering serious injuries. But if you pay, you will get rewards. After killing the monster, the player who touched the corpse took out a crystal nucleus with a faint red light in surprise. It's a crystal nucleus that can improve attributes. Chapter 40. Everyone's attention was diverted, even the injured players. Except for the players who were fighting, it was hard to imagine what it would be like to have players from hundreds of meters all looking in one direction in the entire peripheral area. There was envy and enthusiasm in everyone's eyes, and the player who took out the crystal nucleus hurriedly ran to the injured player and fed the crystal nucleus. There was a little more dizziness on his face, and his aura was obviously stronger. It wasn't until the crystal nucleus disappeared that the fiery eyes around him gradually dissipated, and there was still that faint killing intent. Killing and seizing treasures seems to be a common practice in this peripheral area. Catherine even believed that if the crystal nucleus just now had not been taken, maybe a battle would break out now. The figure disappeared into the darkness. Now that Li Mu's statement had been confirmed, Catherine naturally did not hesitate any longer. She found a place with few people. The figure flickered quickly, and a skeleton soldier was smashed to pieces with almost no room to resist. Skull. It's just a pity that there is no crystal nucleus, which makes Catherine a little disappointed, but thinking of the teams that killed dozens of monsters before without obtaining a crystal nucleus, Catherine put away her disappointment and turned backwards. The triangular army thorn in her hand quickly stabbed the head of a zombie that entered. While Catherine was busy killing monsters, Li Mu had already returned to his residence. Pushing away the people in the bedroom, Xinlan was rubbing against the pillow, her slender beauty, curvy lines, fair skin, and half-exposed big buns, all of which exuded fatal temptation. Ming Ming only ate twice when he went out, but now he wants to eat again, but thinking about the business, Li Mu shook his head, walked over to pat Xinlan's delicate CT, and called out, "Little lazy pig, wake up soon, if you sleep again, you will become a pig spirit." Opening his blurred eyes, he saw that it was Li Mu. He crawled into Li Mu's arms a few times, rubbed against her, and closed his big eyes again, as if he was about to go back to sleep. With black lines floating on her head, Li Mu lowered her head and bit her delicate earlobe a few bites, and said with a hot breath, "If you don't get up again, I will feed you something delicious." I was frightened awake immediately, and the succubus physique couldn't squeeze Li Mu so often, Xinlan felt like she was going to sleep to death again. Watching Xinlan get up and put on clothes, her white jade-like body slowly disappearing in front of her eyes, Li Mu felt the heat inside her nose, which was simply too tempting. After getting dressed neatly, Xinlan poked her head, leaned next to Li Mu, and asked softly, "Is there anything important about Li Mu, big brother?" Touching Xinlan's little head, Li Mu bought 2 triangular army thorns from the Infinity Store, and handed them to Xinlan together with the 3rd-level armor. "We're going to kill monsters outside the city in a while. There are crystal nuclei in the heads of those monsters. The crystal nuclei can improve attributes. Do you understand?" Her eyes lit up, and Xinlan was not stupid, so she naturally understood what Li Mu meant. She knew how difficult it was to increase her attributes, and only 0.1 attributes for 100 points. She had suffered enough from the poor. Although the current attribute is not bad, Li Mu will not be careless. The infinite space is unpredictable, maybe the monster is not powerful, but the cold arrow behind him has to be guarded against. Helmets and bulletproof vests can effectively deal with sneak attacks, which can be regarded as a guarantee. Dressed neatly and putting away the triangular army thorns, Li Mu left the residence with Xinlan and the 2, and quickly rushed towards the outskirts of the city. Leaving the city area, the darkness came, and the body was obviously a little heavy, but it didn't affect anything. Seeing the monsters emerging like monsters attacking the city, and the players who teamed up to kill the monsters, Li Mu took Xinlan and ran to remote place. "Try the strength of these monsters first, then see how lucky you are, and then try to go deeper." With Li Mu's current strength of more than 6 points on average, it is not too easy to kill these monsters with attributes of more than 1 point. They can be kicked to death with 1 kick, and Xinlan has also exerted the powerful blood power of the succubus. The beautiful purple eyes swept across, and the monsters lost their minds and killed each other. Dozens of monsters fought together, and the monsters died tragically. Soon the area was cleared. They all smashed their heads with the triangular army thorns. To Li Mu's disappointment, there was no crystal nucleus at all. "How much is this?" "More than 100, right? This explosion rate is not only low, it is extremely low. Crystal nuclei that can increase the attribute by 0.1 are simply too rare, there is no way." Li Mu didn't want to waste time, called Shang Xinlan, and headed down to the depths. In the other direction, Catherine half-kneeled on the ground. After more than an hour, she was already exhausted, and there were corpses that were killed by one blow everywhere. Counting them, there were nearly 200 of them. Despite being exhausted, Catherine was still very excited, with her palm spread out, a red crystal nucleus was emitting a faint light in her hand. After going through untold hardships and killing 195 monsters, he finally obtained the first crystal nucleus to improve attributes. Hey, beauty, do you want to form a team? How about that crystal nucleus as a vote? Chapter 41. With Xinlan in hand, Li Mu and the two headed towards the dark abyss. Li Mu remembered that Fatty Shangguan said that the stronger the strength, the higher the explosion rate, and Li Mu found that these monsters seemed to be divided into regions. Monsters with 1 to 3 attributes are one area, 4 to 6 attributes are one area, and those monsters all crawled out of the ground. If you don't go too deep, Li Mu will stop in the middle area. If you go too deep, it will be a bit dangerous. Once you are surrounded by monsters, if there are players with ulterior motives that make you stumble, you won't be able to escape unless you transform. Moreover, this area is neither too simple nor too difficult, which is not bad. Kicking away a zombie, he jumped up, and the triangular army thorn in his hand pierced through the zombie's head at a tricky angle. Frowning, the heads of the zombies in this area seem to have hardened a lot, and he needs some strength to penetrate the heads of the zombies. There was a sound of wind coming from behind him, he bent down to dodge, and the three-edged army thorn nailed it with his backhand. A skeleton's head was crushed, the bones were scattered all over the place, and the dim soul fire slowly dissipated. Turning her head to look at Xinlan, although she was already mentally prepared, but seeing a bunch of monsters queuing up to be sent up, and being pierced through the head by Xinlan, Li Mu felt that she had cheated herself by not choosing the succubus bloodline. Shaking his head, he put aside this dangerous thought, his blood of the Devil King is the most powerful. Speaking of the bloodline of the Demon King, Li Mu turned his head to look at the monsters in the distance, stepped forward, and started the legendary lure. Under the coquettish movement, a large group of monsters were attracted, and they followed Li Mu one by one, with a foul smell in their roars, they kept chasing after him. Dozens of monsters mobilized a great momentum, Li Mu kept looking back, and when he felt that it was almost done, the power of the Demon King in his body was mobilized, and a black magic ball gradually condensed in his hand. Carrying tyrannical dark energy, as soon as the black energy ball appeared in the space, faint ripples were set off, and a huge magic power spread instantly, and the monsters chasing behind even stopped for a short time. Not knowing how strong this dark magic ball is, Li Mu felt that 1/3 of the magic power in his body was drawn out instantly. Raising his hand, he threw the dark magic ball out, and the pitch-black energy ball flew into the monster group with dead magic power, and the terrifying energy fluctuations exploded instantly. Boom! The ground is shaking, smoke and dust are everywhere, earth and rocks are flying, gunpowder smoke rises several feet, and the shock wave from the explosion turns into a ring-shaped air wave and spreads away towards the surroundings. In the distance, Xinlan was startled by the big movement here, and almost couldn't control the monster in front of her. Patting the magnificent bun, Xinlan looked at Li Mu, her big eyes were dumbstruck. This is too powerful. At the place where the dark magic ball exploded, a 3-meter-sized crater appeared before the eyes, the earth and rocks collapsed, and dozens of corpses fell to the ground in tatters. Li Mu was also taken aback by this power. This power is comparable to the power of several high-explosive grenades exploding together, right? I didn't expect that a random blow would be so terrifying, 1/3 of the magic power is really powerful. Holding the triangular army thorn, Li Mu walked to the side of these corpses, and began to check one by one to see if there were any crystal nuclei. In the midst of Li Mu's constant disappointment, Xinlan's excited voice suddenly came from behind. Wow! Li Mu big brother has it. Got it, your sister. You have it. He complained in his heart, but Li Mu knew that what Xinlan said was that he had dug out the crystal nucleus, and he felt a little bitter, and he was not lazy. Why didn't I even see the shadow of a crystal nucleus? Just when Li Mu's heart was hurting, the triangle army's thorns were suddenly hindered. Ding! The crisp voice made Li Mu startled, didn't it? After digging out the reddish crystal nuclei in the corpse's head a few times, Li Mu felt mixed feelings, and finally your sister hit one. It's not easy. Wow! Li Mu big brother, here we go again. Here we go again. With black lines all over her head, Li Mu clenched her fists, you did it on purpose. Turning his head and glaring at Xin Lan viciously, especially those two big buns, Li Mu said bitterly, When I get back, I will call you meow meow. Shrinking her head for an instant, Xinlan looked at the 2 crystal nuclei in her hand, and her face was bitter, as if she was too skinny. After checking all the corpses, Li Mu was very relieved. He finally got 2 crystal nuclei from the 68 corpses, which is not bad. At least 200 points, staying at home, but no points sent to the door. Turning his head to look into the depths of the darkness, over there, zombies, skeletons, insect monsters and other strange monsters are walking towards this side. Just when Li Mu was going to move on with Xinlan, there were suddenly messy footsteps and shouts from behind. Stinky BCH, stop! The person who killed us still wants to run? The middle level area is ahead, let me see where you can go. Chapter 42. Running very embarrassingly, Catherine did not expect the opponent's strength to be so strong. She was exhausted after killing nearly 200 monsters. How could she give away the crystal nucleus that she had so hard to get so easily? Pretending to send out the crystal nucleus, the triangular army thorn in his hand pierced through the neck of a player, and then tried to kill the second player when the other party didn't react, but failed. Not only that, but she was also kicked and flew out. Her stomach seemed to be knotted, but this kick gave her more help in escaping. Relying on her body skills to avoid the besieging monsters, Catherine ran around in the crowd of monsters in a panic, but her heart became colder the further she walked. As she went deeper into the dark area, the monster became stronger and stronger, and even she couldn't hide. If it wasn't for the killer's instinct, she might have been knocked down halfway. Her body seemed to be getting heavier, and the shouting and cursing from behind made Catherine's mood even heavier. An intermediate area. More powerful monster areas. Raising her head, Catherine was surprised. She actually saw the man who won the Chicken King in the same game as her. She remembered that when she met on the street today, he wanted to kill her. As a killer, Catherine has a particularly keen perception of murderous intent. Looking at the corpses lying on the ground at Li Mu's feet, Catherine was in despair. There were wolves behind and tigers in front. She might not have a chance to survive today. Now Li Mu was very surprised. He didn't expect to bump into this woman here. Speaking of it, it really didn't take much effort. Looking up at the players chasing from a distance, Li Mu smiled, as if he was not the only one who wanted to kill her. As for the reason, it's nothing more than lust or wanting to be a guest robber, but speaking of it, I don't know if there will be a 5th reward for killing people in this area. If so. Squinting, points are so hard to earn now, and the new infinite world will take 6 days to open. If it works, this can be regarded as a way to earn extra money. With the cold light of the triangular army thorn in his hand, Li Mu walked towards Catherine step by step. Behind Catherine, several players who were slowly chasing up saw Li Mu and the surrounding corpses. All of them had fearful eyes, and stopped chasing them, and all backed away. A little disappointed, Li Mu wanted to kill all those players to see if he could get points, but it was a pity that he ran too fast, and it was not worth chasing. We met again. Speaking of it, we seem to be very destined, but in 2 days, 4 times. Kneeling halfway on the ground, Catherine no longer had the strength to run. Her charming face was lifted up. Her delicate face could be called the masterpiece of God, and the devil's figure was not inferior to Xinlan who got the blood of the succubus. I want to know, why are you so persistent in wanting to kill me? Ever since the settlement space, I can feel your hostility. Even today, you deliberately lured me out, and your killing intent is still so strong. Panting, exhausted, every breath feels like a steel knife is being scraped on my chest. Reason? There is really no reason. In this infinite space, one more person means more danger, because it is very likely that you will be stabbed when you are weak. The most important thing is that you, a woman, gave me a great sense of crisis. You should not be an ordinary person. In fact, as a killer, Catherine understands this truth better than Li Mu. Anyone who is alive is a potential enemy. She also wants to kill everyone all the time, but it is a pity that she does not have that strength. I don't want to die, I'm not reconciled, I want to know, how can I survive? What do I need to do? I can swear, the most vicious oath, I can be loyal to you. I have many skills. I am one of the top 3 killers on the planet. I am proficient in various fighting techniques and firearms. I can help you. Give me time, and I will become your most capable arm. I have to say that this condition is very attractive, but... The palm was pinched on Catherine's neck, the skin was smooth and delicate, and she didn't look like a Westerner at all. To be honest, it was a pity that this kind of stunner killed Li Mu, but it was really too unsafe to keep a threat by her side. Your words are very attractive, but I'm sorry, you still have to die. The greater your value, the greater your threat in my eyes. Today you can serve me because you are afraid of death. One day, you will also rely on others. The strength of up to 6 points lifted Catherine up like a straw. Resistance and struggle didn't work for half a day. As long as Li Mu exerted a little force, she could break her neck. Wait a minute, I have something to say. A last word. Struggling while grabbing Li Mu's arm, Catherine's expression turned pale, and she said, there is a slave contract in the Infinite Store, I can sign it. I don't want to die. Chapter 43. Slave Contract? If there is such a contract, it is not impossible for the woman in front of me to save her life. Li Mu will not be blindly arrogant, 10 times the reward is indeed powerful, but for the infinite world, no amount of respect can be overstated, those who despise the infinite world will die miserably in the end. Xinlan, come here, according to your previous method, it shouldn't be difficult to charm her. Hearing Li Mu's call, Xinlan stepped forward, with a faint purple light shining in her eyes, while Catherine's eyes, pinched by Li Mu, struggled for a moment, and gradually became lifeless and empty. Letting go of Catherine, Li Mu opened the Infinity Store, looked for it, and found the slave contract. Slave contract, the price is 10,000 points, which can force players to become their own slaves. The limit level is below single attribute F level, and it is invalid for plot characters. Is it worth changing 10,000 points for a player below F level with a single attribute? And it doesn't work for plot characters. This thing is a piece of shit. 10,000 points are used to increase the attribute points, which is a full 10 points of attributes. As long as they are not brain dead, they will not waste points on players of this level, unless there is a reason not to give up. Glancing at Catherine in a dazed state, Li Mu knew in her heart that this woman was plotting against him. After all, can a player have 10,000 points? As long as she slows down, she will have a chance to convince him. It's a pity that it's not worth it for others to spend 10,000 points, but he is worth it. The chance of a 10% discount in the Infinite Store is gone, but he still has a 10% discount item card. Perhaps in comparison, it would be a bit of a loss to use the discounted item card here, but thinking about what you can get from Catherine in the future, it may not be a loss. It's like starting a company to make money, isn't it all about putting money into it, and you will get something in the end? Of course, it is also very possible to be in vain, but Li Mu thinks he can still afford 1,000 points plus a 10% discount on item cards. The most important thing is that a contracted slave cannot kill the master. If the master dies, the slave will also die. With this restriction, he is really not afraid of Catherine playing tricks. Exchange the slave contract and use a discounted item card. Ding! After deducting a 10% discount item card and deducting 1,000 points, the remaining points are currently 1,500 points. Looking at the contract scroll that appeared in her hand, Li Mu nodded to Xinlan, signaling her to remove her control over Catherine. Xinlan's spiritual attribute of 6.4 completely crushed Catherine. If Xinlan didn't dispel the charm, Catherine might not be able to wake up. It's not that Li Mu never thought of using this method to control Catherine, but this method is too undesirable. She's just a puppet without any sense of sanity. This is not what Li Mu wants. The figure swayed a few times. After waking up, Catherine immediately looked at Xinlan vigilantly. She just couldn't control her body. It felt like her body no longer belonged to her. She has received special mental training, anti-hypnosis, and various hallucinogenic drugs, so that her spirit is as high as 1.7, but she has no resistance at all. Who is this girl in front of her? The slave contract you want, sign it now. Turning her head to look at the slave contract in Li Mu's hand, Catherine was stunned. Isn't the slave contract 10,000 points? This man still has 10,000 idle points? This man is a devil, right? How many points does he have? Just as Li Mu thought, Catherine mentioned that the slave contract was just a way to slow down the war. Who would want to be a slave? She still doesn't believe that Li Mu has 10,000 points. At that time, she just needs to slowly gain trust, whether it's a backhanded knife or completely integrated into the team. Result? Are you crazy? 10,000 points to buy this slave contract? Isn't it good for you to strengthen your own attributes? Are you going to go back on your word? Seeing Catherine's face turning blue and then pale, Li Mu suddenly felt a sense of joy in her heart. It's amazing to build happiness on the pain of others. Could it be that the blood of the Devil King is affecting his character? Must be right. He is not such a person. Li Mu can't help but start to excuse himself. Staring at Li Mu closely, the joy on this man's face almost put the word happiness on his face, but she had no choice. If she didn't sign, she would die. She didn't doubt that after she refused, Li Mu would kill her straight away. This man can really do such a tricky thing. He dripped his own blood on the contract, and the slave contract turned into dots of stars, eventually forming 2 hexagrams, one imprinted on her forehead, and the other imprinted on the back of Li Mu's hand, and then gradually disappeared. After the slave contract was planted, Li Mu suddenly had a feeling that he could easily control Catherine's life and death, and everything was in his mind. Suddenly becoming someone else's slave, Catherine sighed, with some indescribable feelings in her heart. When she was on Earth, her reputation was frightening in the dark world, but now she has come to the infinite world, and she has become a slave before she has time to develop. The world is changing so fast. Chapter 44. Let's talk about it. Why did those people chase you down? They were motivated by S**X? Then you unexpectedly killed them? And what is your identity? Your 4-dimensional attribute is not an ordinary person. With the slave contract, Li Mu can check Catherine's attributes at any time. The extraordinary 4-dimensional attributes almost make Li Mu think that she spent points to strengthen her. However, with the addition of the 3rd level set, the triangular army thorn, and the large caliber desert eagle, Li Mu really doesn't believe how many points she can get, and this bunch of skills is not easy. Character, Catherine Host, Li Mu Strength, 1.3 Agility, 1.6 Spirit, 1.7 Constitution, 1.4 Comprehensive Strength Evaluation, F Special Ancestry, None Skills, Military Combat, Master, Assassination, Master, Gun Mastery, Advanced, Bodywork, Advanced, Talent, No Possessed Items, Level 3 Helmet, Level 3 Body Armor, Triangular Army Thorn, Desert Eagle, 0.5 Caliber Bullet X93, Crystal Core X1 Character Points, 100 points. Looking at this bunch of skills, and looking at the equipment she bought, Li Mu really doesn't believe that she has extra points to strengthen, plus these skills, she will think that she is just an ordinary person if she has a brain hole. I'm a killer on Earth, so my strength isn't too bad. As for those people, they want to snatch my crystal nucleus and want my people. I killed one of them backhanded, but it's not bad. I got 1/5 of the money integral. After talking about what happened before and thinking about it, Catherine raised her hand, and spread out her bloody palm, revealing a crystal nucleus that had been preserved for a long time. Here, I still have 100 points here. Catherine actually didn't want to hand over these things, but now that she's Li Mu's slave, it seems that slaves don't have a good end, right? Rather than being forced to hand it over, Catherine felt that there was no way out, and maybe it would be good to die before. Looking at the crystal nucleus placed in Catherine's palm, Li Mu picked it up, put it in front of her eyes, looked carefully, and asked, "How many monsters did you kill?" The crystal nucleus was taken away, and Catherine was still a little disappointed and frustrated. Hearing Li Mu's question, she said, "Nearly 200, 195 or 196. I forgot." The crystal nucleus exuding a faint red light is like a beautiful gem, not stained with any dirt. It is the crystallization of power. Raising his hand to pinch Catherine's chin, seeing her sudden vigilance, Li Mu threw the crystal nucleus into her jaw. "I don't want what you worked hard to get. If one day you really want to give it to me, maybe I will think about it." Before he had time to speak, the crystal nucleus turned into energy and poured into the body, and at the same time, an ascension sounded in Catherine's mind. "Please select the attribute you need to strengthen." Agile. Ding. Your agility attribute has increased by 0.1, and it is currently 1.7. The body seemed to become lighter, and Catherine felt a little joyful, and the hard work was finally not in vain. After recovering, looking at Li Mu in front of her, Catherine found that this man was not as annoying as she imagined. Not knowing what was going on in Catherine's mind, she stared at the other side of the city. The light there seemed to be a little dimmer. As far as she could see, some people even retreated from the deeper area quickly with blood. "We should go back." Having just tasted the benefits of improving her strength, Catherine frowned and whispered, "The injury on my body doesn't matter, I can still work hard for a while." Seeing Li Mu looking at her, Catherine thought that he was caring about her body. Her trained steely heart seemed to be moved, and she felt that Li Mu was not so hateful anymore. What does it have to do with your injury? What are you daydreaming about? If you don't leave, you are ready to die outside. By the way, I forgot to tell you. The words I said to you on the street before are still missing a part. When the light in the city is dim, it is the time when the night outside comes, and there will be great terror. Seeing Li Mu passing by, Catherine was stunned. He, it's not so hateful, it's a lie, it's not so annoying, it's a lie to care, this man is a beast. Thanks to her, she was still a little touched. It's all a lie. It's all her deceiving herself. Seeing Li Mu and Xinlan walking away at a speed she couldn't understand, Catherine's eyelids twitched wildly. What the hell speed are these two? Her agility of 1.7 is going to be ashes. How many points do these two people have? The darkness swallowed the earth like an abyss with a huge mouth, and the ominous atmosphere became more and more intense, and the bodies seemed to be a lot heavier. After finally stepping into the city, Catherine turned her head and looked, feeling a little terrified in her heart. The outside world became completely dark, and the screams and wailings made people shudder. There were horrible chewing sounds, bones breaking, and huge roaring sounds, as if some terrifying creatures were wandering. Catherine couldn't even imagine what the world in the dark would be like if she didn't come back early. Don't read it, let's go back together, Catherine, you come with us. Chapter 45. Now Catherine has become his slave, whether it is going out or anything, it is convenient to live together, except for the kitchen and the like, 3 bedrooms and 1 living room can be accommodated. Regarding this point, Catherine had been prepared for a long time, and she didn't say anything. When she returned to Li Mu's residence, Catherine suddenly became sore. Is this where you live? 3 bedrooms and 1 living room? With kitchen and bathroom. Thinking of the place where she lived, there was only a small sleeping place, and the bathroom and kitchen were crowded together. Catherine was so sore. Everyone's bathroom is bigger than where she lives. Don't you live in a different place from us? After all, we are 2 people. Is it normal to be older? Li Mu had never seen it before, so he didn't dare to comment casually, and the question was a bit ambiguous. Is it normal to be bigger? Your bathroom is bigger than where I live. After gesticulating with both hands and pointing to the bathroom, Catherine said with a dark face, Here, the place where I live is only this big. Li Mu. Looking at the bathroom, Li Mu suddenly felt that the gap was a bit big, which was quite miserable. Looking at the kitchen, Li Mu suddenly remembered that he didn't seem to have eaten today, and he didn't feel hungry. Could it be that the attribute has been enhanced and the hunger has been delayed? Can you cook? If you can, then cook. Xinlan and I are going to digest the crystal nucleus. Catherine still knew how to cook, so she didn't say much, and walked towards the kitchen dully. Pulling Xinlan to sit on the sofa, there happened to be 2 crystal cores for each person. After taking the crystal cores, the reminder sounded, and Li Mu added all the attributes of the 2 crystal cores to the strength. Ding! Increase your strength by 0.2 points, your current strength attribute is 7 points. Power surged continuously in the body, and Li Mu did not let out a breath until it calmed down. At the same time, Xinlan also opened her eyes, and the purple light flashed away in her eyes. Xinlan, what did you add? I added the spirit, now it's 6.6, and the succubus seems to focus on the spirit. Nodding his head, the succubus seems to use their minds to control others, or create illusions to make enemies kill each other. As for strength, physique, and agility, they don't seem to be considered strong points. Catherine cooks very quickly, but Li Mu doesn't comment on it. He is still not used to Western food, so he can only say it's okay and not bad. Catherine also said that she wants to learn Oriental recipes. After eating, Li Mu sat on the sofa, Xinlan and Catherine also sat beside her. Let me talk about the information I learned today. First, there are still 5 days until the next infinite game starts. Secondly, compared to other players, we have a great advantage. I learned today that the F-level area is full of aliens from various living planets. Although they all have the size of humans, they are not Earthlings. The most important point is that the world of infinite games is selected from the worlds of games, anime, and movies on our Earth, such as The Walking Dead, Grand Theft Auto, Train to Busan, and Aliens. Do you understand now? Even if they don't say this information, Xinlan and the others will know it in a short time. Now it's just a reminder so that they don't act wrong. After listening to Li Mu, Xinlan and Catherine were obviously very surprised. If this is the case, their advantage is really great. Knowing the plot and not knowing the plot are completely different things. Seeing the expressions of the two women, Li Mu knocked on the tea table, and after attracting the attention of the two women, he continued, "Tomorrow we will continue to go to the outer area to kill monsters and improve our strength. I have thought about killing people to grab points. The reason why the outside world is quiet must have their rules, otherwise it would not be possible to be so harmonious all the time. What we need to do is to brush with peace of mind. When we encounter people who are not good at eyes, we will kill them directly. We don't take the initiative to cause trouble, but those who die will never be rejected. Do you understand?" Nodded. Xinlan and Catherine are not stupid. So many people in the outer area fought monsters harmoniously without fighting. There must be rules, otherwise killing people would get 1/5 of the points. Without rules, they would have gone mad. Infinity Space didn't have any entertainment activities. After discussing the matter, Li Mu took Xinlan away, and seeing Li Mu and Xinlan leave together, Catherine couldn't help feeling a little dizzy. Everyone is an adult, and she left so early without entertainment. She knew what to do without thinking about it. It didn't take long, the voice of Eclipsing Bones came along with the sound of weeping and joy, and Catherine's face was completely pale in an instant. He raised his head and saw that Li Mu hadn't closed the door well. In the vagueness, a strong man was carrying an ivory-like beauty and was bombarding it. The waves are turbulent, majestic, strong and masculine, charming and delicate, the combination of the two. Catherine didn't dare to look at it anymore, and hurried back to her room. Tossing and turning, the voice lasted for a long time, with the sound of weeping, begging and pleading. Catherine didn't know when she fell asleep. Chapter 46. The next day, a refreshed Li Mu walked out of the bedroom with Xinlan. Looking at Catherine, who had dark circles under her eyes and a face full of resentment, Li Mu touched her nose. "It seems that there was a little movement yesterday?" Xinlan also had a pretty face, and Catherine's appearance was obviously disturbed by the battle between her and Li Mu. After dinner, Li Mu took Xinlan and Catherine to the dark area again, and did not intend to go deep. Li Mu was still hunting in the central area, and Catherine was working hard at the border between the outer area and the central area. The 3-point attribute is very difficult for Catherine, but it is also a channel for improvement. The attribute points do not have to be improved by points and crystal nuclei. High-intensity exercise and life and death hardships will also slowly improve the attribute. Otherwise, how can someone's thinking be high and low at the beginning? Accepting Catherine, Li Mu doesn't plan to support idlers, or use her as cannon fodder when she doesn't need it. His 1000 points didn't come from a strong wind, not to mention that there was a 10% off item card. If it wasn't for Catherine's potential, Li Mu would never have used the 10% off item card. At the edge of the outer area, Catherine kept dodging the monster's attack, and the 3-sided army thorn in her hand accurately stabbed the zombie's head at various tricky angles. It's just that her strength is too low, as high as 3 points of physique and strength zombies, the defense is not something she can easily break through. If it weren't for the zombie's low agility and rigid attack, Catherine would have been killed long ago, but even so, Catherine would vomit blood and get injured with a single blow with a power of up to 3 points. The strength of 3 points is 150 kilograms, and the strength of 150 kilograms is concentrated in a place the size of a fist. If Catherine hadn't known the technique of unloading force, she would have been slapped to death with a single slap. 150 kilograms is 300 kilograms. A slap on the ground can make a hole. Catherine's side is full of dangers, and Li Mu is also terrified, for fear that Catherine will be photographed to death if she is not careful. However, Li Mu could feel that Catherine was making progress. Under the devil level training, if there was no progress, Catherine might not live long. Monsters will not reason with you, nor will they play one-on-one battles. Once they reach the warning range, the monsters will take the initiative to attack. Under the siege of 2 zombies and a skeleton soldier, Catherine went through untold hardships, and the triangular army stabbed a zombie in the head many times. The originally solid defense was finally broken. Puff! Amidst the muffled sound, Catherine quickly retreated, and slapped the smelly big hand, but did not hit Catherine, but slapped the dead zombie to the ground. After 1 zombie was eliminated, the remaining 2 were much easier. With that peculiar movement, it took more than 10 minutes for Catherine to eliminate the other 2 monsters. Taking a breath and relaxing, Catherine couldn't help but gasped, lifted her clothes, looked at the bruised and blackened palm prints on her back, and her eyelids twitched. It was just this one blow that almost made her unable to fight back. The monster with double 3 attributes is still too scary. Bending down to collect the loot, Catherine was delighted that there was actually a crystal nucleus that enhanced the attributes in the corpses of the 3 monsters Li Mu saw in the day's battle. Catherine was always in danger, but the harvest was equally rich. Li Mu didn't calculate. On this day, Catherine killed 43 monsters and obtained 7 crystal nuclei. This kind of explosion rate is simply astonishing, but for him and Xinlan, the total harvest in a day is only 5, which makes him a little puzzled. Is his and Xinlan's luck so bad? Li Mu always felt that there might be articles in it. Catherine took all 7 crystal nuclei directly, and her strength and agility increased by 0.2 points respectively. For the last 3 points, Catherine's physique was all improved. Strength equals attack power, agility equals speed, and constitution represents physical strength and recovery speed. Don't underestimate this weak improvement. With the 0.7 attributes shared, the 3 monsters, now Catherine is obviously able to handle it with ease. Bringing the 2 girls back to the urban area ahead of time, Li Mu had some questions and wanted to ask Fatty Shangguan, but he always felt that he was missing something. In front of Shangguan Fatty's stall, Li Mu pulled out a chair and sat down. Seeing Li Mu approaching, Shangguan Fatty rolled his small eyes, glanced at Catherine and Xinlan, and smiled lewdly. Brother Dei, I didn't expect you to be very good at it. You seem to be doing well, and I'm here to take care of my brother's business again. Isn't that right? I haven't seen her for 2 days. Li Mu is followed by 2 beauties. This is obviously a good mix. In the infinite space, where can I find such an obedient and beautiful girl? Ignoring this wretched fat man, Li Mu asked with a straight face, Fatty, let me ask you, are there any rules for the crystal nuclei exploded by those monsters outside? Chapter 47. Law? Shangguan Gan narrowed his eyes, looked at Li Mu and asked, you feel it too? Li Mu. It's so real. You know? Why didn't you say it earlier? I wasted 2 days. Li Mu's face turned dark. If she knew the rules earlier, would she have gained so little? Rubbing his fingers, Fatty Shangguan smiled, winked at Li Mu and said, you understand the rules, but I didn't tell you before because the news is relatively expensive. Considering that you are a new player, I didn't mention it. Although you spent 100 points, I think your points may not be enough. When it comes to points, Shangguan is a lot more serious. News is more expensive? Li Mu frowned and asked, how many points, and are you sure the news is true? Li Mu still has 1,500 points, and Xinlan still has 280. He thinks that 1,780 points should be enough. Pointing out a finger, Shangguan Gan said in a serious manner, 1,000 points, you take away the information, make sure it is valid and true, otherwise my stall would have been smashed. 1,000 points? Li Mu was also taken aback, the previous news, but only 10 o'clock, this fat man can't be cheating, right? Seeing that Li Mu stopped talking, Shangguan Gan was not disappointed. With 1,000 points, only those large forces in the F-level area can take them out without blinking an eye. You know, some people can't get 1,000 points in a single game. Deal, I hope you don't lie to me? Looking at Li Mu in bewilderment, Shangguan is so stupid, what is it? Trade? Did he hear correctly? Shangguan Gan looked at Li Mu with wide eyes that were almost squeezed by the fat. He remembered that this buddy had already spent 100 points with him. Look at the equipment on his body again, the 3rd level body armor, the desert eagle on his waist, and the grenade hanging on his waist. This outfit is worth 500 or 600 points. He couldn't believe that Li Mu didn't have enhanced attributes, and now he can still use 1,000 points to buy information. He was so confused, why did this guy come here? How can he be so rich? The whole process was in a daze, until he saw the 1,000 points traded, and Shangguan Gan realized that this brother is really rich. 1,000 points were traded without blinking an eye, what a big deal. Come on, if you fool me, I'll light a sky lantern for you fat. Seeing Li Mu's vicious look, Shangguan Gan shuddered, smiled and returned to his wretched look again. Hi. Bro, am I a liar? You come here and I'll tell you. Looking at the careful fat man, Li Mu frowned and put his ears closer. This information is only known by the large teams or teams in the F-level area. Regarding the dark area outside, the explosion rate is fixed. Although it depends on luck, it is not always the case. You should have played the game, the higher the level, the lower the reward for killing monsters, you should understand? On the contrary, there are always many good things to kill monsters by leapfrogging, and the outside world is the same. Don't look at the many people in the outer area, but how many powerful players have you seen? The really powerful players are all in the depths. The monster explosion rate of the same level is normal, and the lower the monster explosion rate, the lower the battle rate. The explosion rate will naturally increase accordingly. After finishing speaking, Shang Guanggan stepped back, and Li Mu also sat upright. Now he understands, no wonder his explosion rate in the outer area is so low, no wonder Catherine exploded 7 crystal nuclei out of 43 monsters, so there is this relationship. By the way, I'll give you another message for free. The outside world has its own rules. You can just fight monsters and upgrade with peace of mind. This is acquiesced by everyone, but you don't have to worry about getting into trouble. Nodding his head without speaking, it was the same as he thought. Bringing Xinlan and the others back to their residence, Li Mu did not rush to refine the crystal nuclei, but instead saved them. These crystal nuclei might be of great use. After a night of nothing, Li Mu remembered to close the door this time. The next day, Li Mu took Xinlan to go deeper, while Catherine stayed in the outermost area. The results of the experiment were pretty good. In a few days, Li Mu and Xinlan got a total of 48 crystal nuclei, which seems like a lot, but when divided, it's not bad. As for Catherine, this female killer did not disappoint Li Mu either. In 4 days, she obtained 22 crystal nuclei, and the suffering of life and death increased both her strength and agility by 0.1. Under the suit of 22 crystal cores, according to the distribution of 8:8:2:4, Catherine's 4-dimensional attributes are instantly refurbished. Character, Catherine Host, Li Mu Strength, 2.4 Agility, 2.8 Spirit, 1.9 Constitution, 2.1. This kind of improvement is undoubtedly very fast, but today Li Mu did not take Xinlan and the others out, because the time of the week has come and a new infinite game is about to start. Chapter 48. Ding! Dear player Li Mu, the infinite game is about to start, please get ready. While waiting quietly, the prompt sounded suddenly. He turned his head to look at Xinlan and Catherine, and found that they were also looking at him. Li Mu nodded and did not speak. A burst of white light diffused from the large light ball, and the voices of the three disappeared instantly on the sofa. His vision was blurred for a moment. After waking up, he looked around. The dark environment made Li Mu frown slightly. The dark forest, the dim sky, seemed to be a piece of night, and on the side were Catherine and Xinlan who were also awake. It wasn't just the three of them, there were also more than a dozen people in this forest, who were looking around nervously at this moment. They were not the only ones in the crowd, there was also a group of people 7 or 8 meters away. Excellent combat armor, all kinds of complete equipment, and standard guns in hand, it seems to be an excellent combat team. While Li Mu was looking around, the players a few meters away were also looking at Li Mu. There is no way, Li Mu is too eye-catching here, succubus Xiao Ao. Careful Lan, Catherine, the combination of angel and devil, it is difficult for such two superb women not to be noticed. Which game world is this? Do you have any ideas? This dark environment looks like an alien, but the alien is in outer space, and it's more like Grand Theft Auto, but it's not quite right. I think this is The Walking Dead. They didn't seem to be in a small team, they were discussing with each other, and at the same time, they kept looking towards Li Mu. Hey, friend? Do you want to form a team? Do you have any information about this world? Ignoring these people, Li Mu looked around, always felt that this place seemed a little familiar, especially that group of people, it seemed to be. Ding! The infinite game is officially launched. This world is the Resident Evil world. Now we are sending out tasks. Task 1, follow the task force, survive until the end of the world line, that is, escape from the hive, reward points 1000 points, no penalty for mission failure. Task 2, ensure that Alice and Matt survive until they leave the hive, reward 500 points, and deduct 1000 points if the task fails, if the points are not enough, kill them. Mission 3, kill no less than 10 zombies, no reward for mission completion, 500 points will be deducted for mission failure, if the points are insufficient, kill. Ding! Reminder, every time you kill a zombie, you can get 5 points. Ding, the task has been issued, and now the distribution of standard equipment, MP5 submachine gun, 60 rounds of ammunition, combat uniform of the task force, numbered A, is not under the jurisdiction of the task force, and you can move freely. The system's notification sounded, and suddenly there were some black combat uniforms, guns, and magazines on the ground. Picking up the clothes, Li Mu gave Catherine and Xinlan a wink, and the three put on the combat uniforms, along with guns and ammunition. Ding! The game space will connect with the Resident Evil world in 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 0 Ding! The Infinity game is officially connected to the Resident Evil world. Something seemed to have changed in the surrounding space. The task force in the distance seemed to have noticed Li Mu and the others, and looked over in unison. Li Mu ignored it, he was looking at the mission issued by Infinity Games. The first one seemed simple, but it was actually the most cheating. No punishment is the greatest punishment. If you can't escape and face a bunch of lickers, you will be a ghost if you can survive. As for Mission 2 and Mission 3, it's absolutely terrible. Who always has 1000 points? As long as one task cannot be completed, sorry, you are gone. From the 3 missions, we can see the cruelty of the infinite game. Basically death is everywhere, and zombie movies happen to have the highest death rate. It's almost time. Although we are all ordered by Umbrella Corporation, the division of labor is different. You are in charge of cleaning, while we are in charge of technology and security work. Now it's time to act. He raised his head and looked at the task force members who did not know when they came over. Li Mu did not speak, and the few people over there should have negotiated. Don't run around for a while, task 2 is not easy, it's definitely a trap. The 2 protagonists who can obviously escape need protection. Li Mu doesn't believe that the infinite game will give away 500 points for free, not to mention, when Alice fights the licker with her bare hands, Li Mu thought it was a bit mysterious when she first watched it. But if the plot requires it, just watch it for fun, but now, 80% of it is impossible. If you don't save it, it is estimated that you will really have to GG. Let's go, now 80% are going to attack the villa. He said in a low voice, watching the black captain command the task force to rush forward. Li Mu quickly chased after him. Following behind the task force, the 3 of Li Mu did not get together with those players. They followed at a leisurely pace until they entered the villa. After capturing Alice and Matt following the plot, they looked at the opened basement door. Li Mu 3 people look at each other. The plot begins. Chapter 49. The task force went ahead, with Alice and Matt in the team, and the players followed closely behind. Separated from the 2 teams, Li Mu looked at Xinlan and Catherine beside her, and said in a low voice, I have studied the Resident Evil series before. There are about 500 underground hive researchers plus some technicians, which means that we have to face the siege of 500 zombies. However, there are still 2 uncertain factors. One is the zombie dog, and the other is the licker. The number is to be determined. The licker is the most threatening. You should understand it. Remember to be careful. Nodding cautiously, Xinlan said, Xinlan knows. Master, Catherine also understands. As the slave with the least status, Catherine naturally did not dare to make Li Mu feel dissatisfied, and quickly responded. In the past few days, she has seen how powerful Li Mu is, especially the black magic ball, whose destructive power is terrifying, which also made her not very honest heart obey a lot. Women are naturally in awe of the strong, and killers are even more so. Seeing the 2 women nodding, Li Mu thought for a moment, then said again, there is the most important thing to pay attention to, be careful of the artificial intelligence Flame Queen. The Flame Queen? That little Lolita is smart. Thinking of the little red Lolita projection, Xinlan couldn't help but feel a little puzzled. His face was serious, he didn't feel anything when watching movies before, but after careful consideration, the problem became very serious. The Flame Queen almost killed the entire task force, and Li Mu even suspected that Alice was actually the goo. For details, please refer to the next few chapters. Has Alice escaped from control? No, almost everyone has to be caught and then let go in various ways, just like the end of the first one, an infinite loop. Lickers are fake, even everything is fake, Raccoon City is just a plan, a conspiracy, and everyone here is a sacrifice. The plot changes, and everything will be unknown. Li Mu guessed that the underground hive must be full of dangers, and it will definitely not be an easy task, and the infinite world is not a nursery or nursing home. The purpose is to kill players like them. It is also raising goo, and it is close to death. Don't ask so many questions. In short, don't treat this world as a movie. The plot may be useful. If you believe it all, you will definitely die a miserable death. Follow me closely, especially you, Catherine. Turning to stare at the female killer who had just been accepted for a few days, Li Mu warned, don't let my cultivation and points go to waste. Yes, I understand. Catherine nodded after taking a deep breath. Catherine is not stupid. During the past few days, she has not only seen how powerful Li Mu is, but also has a little understanding of Li Mu. It's not that the sperm is on the brain. Although she fights with Zinlin in the middle of the night every day, she is clear-headed, decisive in killing, and will not be seduced by women. Even if it wasn't for the slave contract, she would have been killed a few days ago. Although she is usually freed, the killer's keen perception let her know that Li Mu has never been too far away, apparently to observe whether she is qualified to train. No one would be willing to be a slave. Catherine also has ambitions. She saw Li Mu's extraordinary. As for Zinlin, Catherine's evaluation is a lucky woman. All kinds of extraordinary things are given by Li Mu, and Li Mu must have a big secret. Let's go, follow up. Boarding the train, looking at the people sitting down, Li Mu winked at Zinlin, and immediately the two girls nodded slightly. Anyone who has watched Resident Evil knows that there is a T-virus drug on the train, and the three of Li and Mu naturally understood that at this moment, there was a muffled sound in the carriage. Looking back, there was another character in the plot, Spence, the culprit who caused the biochemical virus to leak, and the T-virus agent was at the rear of the train. Bypassing a group of plot characters, Li Mu walked towards the back of the car, and seeing Li Mu suddenly make a move, a dozen players immediately surrounded him. Do you know something? Everyone is a player. If you have any news, you should share it. Everyone doesn't want to die. The zombie world is the most dangerous. Don't force us to take action. Looking at the group of players surrounding him, Li Mu had a cold light in his eyes. I don't know the news, but I am cautious by nature. A gentleman does not stand under a dangerous wall. I advise you to check the front of the car. Do you understand that you are prepared for danger in times of peace? One more thing, guess how many of you can survive when 3 high-explosive grenades explode here? Hearing the word high-explosive grenade, a group of players backed away in shock, looking at Li Mu with cold eyes, and Li Mu naturally looked at each other fearlessly. Humph! Let's check the train for any other dangers. Check the front and roof of the train. Chapter 50. Seeing a group of players turn their heads towards the front of the car, Li Mu sneered in his heart, turned his head and looked at each other with Xin Lan, and said in a low voice, the points for killing zombies are too few, and the points for lickers are probably not easy to earn. There was a flash of light in their eyes. Zinlin and Catherine nodded and did not speak, but they understood what Li Mu meant. With Li Mu standing in the way and being threatened for a while, the group of players naturally didn't dare to come over to make trouble. On the contrary, the task force looked at Li Mu and his party with strange expressions. Captain, I always feel that they are not right. Don't worry about it so much, our task is to check what happened to the hive and shut down the Queen of Flame. Looking around, the black captain gave a warning and didn't look any further. At the end of the train, Li Mu stood by the railing, glanced over, and finally found the T-virus potion that Spence had hidden here in the corner. The moment the palm touched, a notification sounded in Li Mu's mind. Ding! Congratulations on completing the hidden mission and obtaining the T-virus potion box with 1000 bonus points. Ding! The 10-fold bonus talent is activated. Congratulations on getting 10,000 points. The spirit was shaken. Li Mu just wanted to get the T-virus potion. I don't need this stuff, but it's definitely possible to use it to sell points, but I didn't expect to complete a hidden task, and with the talent of 10 times the reward, I got 10,000 points in an instant. These points came really, so fast. The 10 times reward talent is awesome. Beside Li Mu, Zinlin saw that his expression was not right, and couldn't help asking nervously, Li Mu big brother, are you okay? Looking sideways at Yan Zinlin, the charming little girl moved Li Mu's index finger when he was in a good mood, and said with a smirk, it's so good, I want to eat you up. Humph, stinky big brother. Taking a glance at Li Mu, Xin Lan knew without thinking that Li Mu must have benefited. On the other side, watching Li Mu flirting with Zinlin, and then looking at the black backpack, he knew in his heart that Li Mu might have been rewarded by the system, so he couldn't help feeling a little envious. Putting the black backpack back into the backpack space, Li Mu turned around and walked back to the carriage without rushing to see how many medicines were in it. The road to the hive was not far, and the train was fast until it stopped on a platform. Seeing everyone got off the train, Li Mu glanced at the time and said, "We only have 2.5 hours, so we should all pay attention. In addition, we must be careful not only of zombies, but also of those players. If there is a chance, just shoot directly. If you die here, you are dead, and there will be no chance to help them up. Xinlan, use your abilities well, this is the silencer, you guys take it well." Handing over the mufflers that had been prepared earlier to Xinlan and Catherine, Li Mu took the lead and got off the train. There are some goods boxes everywhere on the platform. Bypassing these boxes and following the task force to the entrance of the hive, watching the female man Ren cut open the door, the black captain turned to look at Li Mu and his group and said, "Everyone in the task force, it's your turn." A group of players looked at me and I looked at you, knowing that they couldn't go down with salty fish, so they could only walk towards the door with their submachine guns, and at the same time they didn't let Li Mu and the other three go. "The three of you follow too." Putting on the gas mask, Li Mu walked over. "There would definitely be no danger. If you enter the door, you will be in danger, and the subsequent plot will not unfold at all. The real danger lies in the closure of the Queen of Flame and the zombie crisis after it is closed." Walking into the small door, when the light was turned on, a strange scene appeared in the dark underground. Many people looked out of the window curiously. There were many tall buildings, and there was even the sound of police cars honking. You know, this is hundreds of meters deep underground. Knowing this clearly for a long time, Li Mu didn't bother to listen to those people's explanations, and quietly waited for the next move. Just like the plot, the elevator has long been disabled. Li Mu and other players led the way down several flights of stairs, bypassing the laboratory, and finally came to Restaurant B. More than a dozen members of the task force looked at the huge pile of containers in front of them in a daze, not knowing what was going on, and the players were even more dazed. Only Li Mu and Catherine looked at each other and understood the meaning of the other party. This is indeed Restaurant B, but in another sense, and these containers are filled with the scariest creature in Resident Evil 1, the liquor. Speaking of liquors, Li Mu's expression is also a bit dignified. These monsters have great strength and agility. Most importantly, as long as they are allowed to eat living people, their strength will increase significantly. Just looking at the destructive power of Liquor Pui when he appeared on the stage, the steel plate was blown away. This kind of power is probably at least 5 points, which is 250 kilograms. Otherwise, such a thick steel plate would not be able to knock out such a big hole. While Li Mu was observing these containers, the black captain said, "Everyone in the task force, I will teach you the task of search and inspection. JD, Ren, you keep an eye on the prisoner, and the rest follow me, shut down the Flame Queen." If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you are notified of future uploads. You can find the next parts in the playlist visible on the screen or on my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.